Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the Grand Pulse Final Fantasy TCG podcast. I am Gulo2, joined as always by Bloodfist. How you doing today, Rob?
I am actually doing really good today. We'll explain why a little bit later on, but it has been a hell of a week, a hell of a weekend, and I'm kind of looking for a little bit of chill time, but there's not going to be any of it. So let's let's
Chill?
let's
What,
dive
in
in.
Australia? Or
Oh, you'd be surprised. It can get cold in some places, despite the fact our snow
oh
season
yeah, don't
is.
don't remind me. I'm already hating the fact we're in winter right now. I y'all don't know what like heat and AC are. I swear, compared like Texas does it right. It's like we're blasting AC in the summer, we're blasting heat in the winter.
Yeah, but we're also got expensive power bills, so that probably explains a bit.
Yeah. Uh, well, let's get started. So we're doing a bit of a different thing for our Pack One Pick One warm up. Of course, got to get those juices firing. This is my personal All Star or personal cube. I need to update it. Actually, I tried to have fun with it and put just about every band card in here, and we've got some new ones since I did that last. But let's go ahead and see what a pack would be. So we're gonna go ahead and just restart. I'm just going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here is our pack. We have a Setzer. We have a Water Zidane, a Juggler, Opus 10 Squall, Aerith, Chimera, Garuda 3, Chadley, a Tomos, Shiva, Lon, and an Althea. Jeez. This is a lot higher power than the All Star Cube is.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Until you said that very last card, my pick would have actually been the Zidane because I actually think that card is like it doesn't read particularly powerful, but it's actually a little bit of a house because when it hits your opponent, you draw two cards, so it just really accelerates you
If your
like
opponent
through the
doesn't have
deck.
an answer to it, and it's very hard to answer it for cheaper than they play it.
Yeah,
Unless your opponent also drafts like a Zac or a Cloud, but even then, you still trade pretty even. Like you're not too sad about forcing those out of them.
exactly. So, but you said the word Althea.
Yeah, I
I think
think
that's just got to be the pick.
she is like infinite value. I don't love getting pushed into Wind, which is kind of scary. That's like the one thing that I'm a little bit unsure on. I think Garuda is a really nice safe pick as well, just like a very clean answer to just about anything. There's not a lot of crystal synergies in here, but again, just a one-sided board wipe is something that I don't think I would ever really want to turn down. But I do think Zidane is up there as well. If it's me, I'm probably taking the Althea. Like, she's banned for a reason. It's the whole point of the cube. We're going to take the banned power card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just out of curiosity, how rewarded do we get for that pick? So mulligan, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. And then this card was taken. Just put this on the deck. Uh, if we want to stay and win, there's a free Alexander. That's not a bad pick. Gesper, if we want to stay on the ban train. Actually, no. We can't. You can never pass Gesper in this cube. It's too damn good. So absolutely
Yeah,
taking
it does
Gesper.
push you towards a very specific thing, Ice Wind, but we've already established even in the regular All Star Cube, Ice is one of the most powerful things you can possibly be doing in the cube, and Gesper is, as we've discussed in a previous episode, one of the most banned cards of all time. So
And also to me, if I see the like if I have the Althea and no one else does, even if I don't play it, that's probably a win. But I think like Gesper is in like the top three, like most pickable cards. It's like Gesper, Stern, and like Sildra. I think are like the three like biggest power cards that you just can't pass under any
yeah, so
circumstances.
we'll just work off the assumption that Stern was in the pack as well, and they decided to pick the
Yeah,
other
I
piece
don't
of
know what
power.
our opponent like what our other player was thinking if they're passing a Gesper. If the Gesper isn't here, I think Alexander's a nice safe take as well. I do really like Lena, but I don't think this is probably the right spot for her. I think we can probably hold off a little bit.
I think
Um,
just Alexander is the cleanest pick
yeah,
there
yeah,
because like it does mean that it means you're picking the wind card, and it means your opponent is basically seeing no wind cards, which means that they're not going to they're not going to pick the wind cards, and you're going to get a little bit fed from that direction. So that's just my sort of thought
I do like the
process.
Durando as well, like the Zolaire. Again, I'm looking at these, I'm like, man, I did not realize how much stronger my cube is than the All Star cube. Like there are some banger cards in each of these packs. The bunny is also even just worth looking at for some consistency.
Yeah, there's a few different options.
All right, so we're nice and warmed up. Um, we'll talk about what I was up to because it was a pretty quiet week for me. But you had a pretty busy weekend, as I hear.
Oh, I did. I had two LQ events this past weekend. I took exactly the same 58, which is the list you're seeing on the screen right now. Um, it's the Water Earth Monsters list again. I sort of had a little bit of a different approach to this bit. The main difference between this and the lists that I took previously is I just lowered the ceiling. Um, this is probably the lowest ceiling deck that I've ever built or played. I know that sounds kind of weird considering that Mono Water Monsters was my jam, and I have played various four color slops in my time, but just having like such a low, like really low to the ground sort of deck. Every single piece is cheap. Every single piece works. Every single piece has a purpose in the deck, and at the numbers that it's at. So uh, we'll
I
talk
mean, I
about
will
yesterday's
say,
event.
like, I don't know how much I think the ceiling is that much. I mean, I just think that like the combination of which Mira, the monsters, and Golbez is so strong on its own that like I don't know how low I even think the ceiling is. There's just not a lot of people that are going to interact favorably with Golbez, play out a Blue Worm, and Shadow Dragon from the break zone. It doesn't really matter what else is there. So I mean, maybe that is a direction to take of just trying, and saying, okay, what can I do to make the deck more consistent, more low to the ground, make sure that like my power plays are going to resolve or happen more consistently.
Yeah, the main thing that I was thinking of, compared to the like comparing the lists, was I just wanted to try and find a way to ba- basically strip it down to its basics. Like take out the frills, take out all of the like get rid of all of the bullshit that doesn't really interact with the game plan and just stick purely to the game plan. It's as I said, it's simple, it's clean, it's effective. It does largely what it says on the tin, but um, if you distill it down to a simple combo of cards, like Witch, Mirror, and Cecil in play, plus any monster that turns itself into a forward, you're basically saying your opponent's board is going bye bye. So I just tried to keep it as simple and as clean as I possibly could.
So comparing this to my own list, there's a couple things that I see that are different. Like that I haven't even tried. The one Tros and the Hippocampos definitely come to mind here.
Yeah, I will make a note. Tross has been an absolute godsend. It's so easy for this deck to get itself to 3 points of damage. Like we're talking, like you talk about Refia wanting to get itself to 3 points of damage, and the whole deck just switching on. Tross is another one of those cards, and like Tross and Mirror are just unbelievable once you get to 3 points of damage because Mirror gets every single monster back, bar the Araman, and Tross is a forward that takes something off your opponent's board while also attacking, while also drawing you cards. It's just spectacular.
I
Like
mean,
it's
honestly, even upgrading the Cagnazzo to like have just bounce a forward, draw a card potentially on a turn. Like if you have like an early hand of like Tros Cagna against an aggro deck, that's probably a keepable hand.
absolutely. So I'll quickly tell you about the events. So the first one was the Wollongong local qualifier. Didn't do as well as I would have liked in that one. Unfortunately, we just ended up drawing all the cards in the wrong order, which happens sometimes. It's card games. So this is the Wollongong local qualifier. Congratulations to Michael Redcap for taking that one down with some.
Good friend, great player. Definitely someone who's put a lot of work into mono fire lately. I'm kind of starting to detest playing against this deck sometimes, but for good reason. I mean, it's I definitely don't agree with a lot of his deck building decisions on it. The Kadaj, I think 17 backups is just overkill. I get a lot of the ideas though for sure.
Yeah.
This is
Like this is a list that he has been like tooling and perfecting for the longest time. Like ever since he saw the monofire hard control decks from the New Zealand Materia Cup last year, he's been all over this style of deck. Like this has been his bread and butter and baby since that point in time, and it shows. It's perfected essentially.
there's some fun stuff in here. Like I love this Mutsuki. It's such a I remember like kind of like laughing when I saw this in this list the first time, and then this little thing I swear I gave him like 5 CP and like a couple of like rounded up pings like over the course of the game. We were discussing before this, but like I think the New Zidane next set might actually make like Firewind like cast decks a thing, Firewind Storm. And I was like, man, if you could sneak this Mutsuki into play, imagine like Lusoing wiping the field and you just get like 4 Mutsuki activations to either like pop and round up some pings on some 9Ks or just like cast a bunch of summons, or if there's like a good, it's hard to find a good outlet for the CP once she activates. But like if you could play her, and the downside is you're playing you. I don't like paying 3 for a backup that doesn't do anything. Paying 4 for one is like, oh no. But if you could
Yeah.
stick her without it like really causing the end of the game for you, she is maybe up there in that pantheon of Une Tilica as like these are the only backups you can consider that don't draw a card and cost 3 on entry.
Yeah. Like it's definitely one of those backups where you sit there and you're just like, I'm investing 4 CP and I'm not going to get that investment back for like quite a while. But the way that this deck plays, it is a hard attrition deck. Like if there's a forward that's in play, it is no longer in play. And Mutsuki is one of the great ways to round up to that. You can also see the full 3 copies of the Vermilion Bird K Tuna in there as well. Um,
Yeah.
just
This is a wild one
it's
for me.
yeah, it's purely like I understand like people not a particularly big fan of the card because it's 6 CP. Like that's a huge investment. But what if your Amaterasu did 9K?
I mean, it's kind of like you can almost think of it in some ways as a 6 TP backup that just kills a forward when you play it, and then also for the rest of the game, your summons do an extra 1K
Yeah,
in this deck.
absolutely.
Because you just go get like this Ifrit, it does 10K, kills one thing, and then she just sits
But
there for the rest of the game basically.
yeah, like you've also got that Salamander there as well.
Yeah, bit of
Because
cleave.
what you can then do is you can round that up to an 8K AOE at instant speed.
Yep.
Um, that's and it's true instant speed as well. It's not like Heck 5 where it's instant speed but only during your own turn. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot of damage to be outputting, and it's like a lot of the ceiling of a lot of forwards right now is 8K. So having just being able to sort of sneak that 1K extra burn is actually pretty sizable.
Yep. Uh, Also, shout outs to the Kadaj. I was also talking. I don't think this is the correct card for this slot either, but like I get some of the ideas with it, but uh, would I
Yeah,
would probably
it's
be on
it's
something like the Demon. Like if I want Break Zone hate, I want to hit the whole Break Zone at once usually, and I think especially in a list like this, like you can resolve the Demon at the right time and kind of just catch them.
yeah.
But
I will say, even today, that Kadaj is one of the most annoying forwards to get off the field because its body size is larger than most 4 CP removal is. Um, it's like it's 4 CP, so it dodges all like a lot of winds, clean removal. It dodges a fair amount of what lightning is doing at the same time. Like a lot of the best removal nowadays is 3 CP or less, so it's right in the middle between the two, and you can't get rid of it at sorcery speed
yeah,
because it's not on the field at your turn.
I mean it's the closest thing the game really has to. In some ways, it isn't as far off from like in the Magic terms like a Rest in Peace or a Leyline of the Void. Problem is that it costs 4 to get it into play, and it kind of only hits it hits 2 cards at a time. So there is kind of some room to maneuver around this card. I've found, like, even if you are a pretty breaks on reliant deck, but
Yeah,
it,
there's a
it,
couple of
it
ways around it, but
yeah, like
it's
it is
just so
definitely,
hard
like,
to
it
get
is
rid of.
powerful when it is, but it also is a dark card in a deck that has I don't know if I want to be playing a dark card in a control deck like this unless the dark card is very powerful and very necessary.
Like Snovlinka.
I don't play her in control decks.
uh,
That is a
but yeah.
mid range and faster card. Um, no, I mean, like, if you wanted to play a light dark, I think either Citra would be nice here as well.
You could
The
also notice as well, like the full 3 copies of the new Brynhilda, uh, pure like that is largely there because of people like me who like to run monsters at people for varying amounts of results. I've spoken with Michael already, and he's mentioned, like people have told him in the past, you've got Cloud. That's like one of the best pieces of monster removal in the game. And he's still sitting there going, it's not enough. I need more. So he's got the full 3 copies of that Brynhilda in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've this card has not impressed me still. It's just so expensive for what it is, and there's no crystal, so you can't get both modes here.
Yeah,
And
I agree that it's a costly card for what it does, but it's saying that he was running the full 3 copies of Ifrita before with a lot more efforts. So
yeah, well, like, that's the trade off, right? Like, if you don't care about killing monsters, and granted, again, like, monsters are potentially a problem for a deck like this, so maybe it's more necessary here. The Opus 15 Brynhilda is still a hell of a card that has a burst, draws a card when something dies, which this deck can round up with the Mootski potentially. The like, if your Brynhilda says 2 CP do 7 draw a card when something dies, that's a much better card. If you get the Lefty in play, like, it really starts to get you know starts to go up very very high very fast. There is some extra
things ramp
utility
up
in that
very quickly.
this is a 2 cost summon that just kills Yuzuki, which can also be a problem for decks like this sometimes. But,
Yeah.
like,
Like it does have the copy of Kuchaspel to sort of help out with that sort of game plan, but yeah, I do agree. Like having access to some slightly sneaky way to get rid of cards that decks like this by all rights shouldn't really be able to touch is it's interesting.
yeah, I don't
I
like.
understand the thought process, but
Yeah, I understand the thought process. I don't know. I would just be worried again. Like, my big issue with this card still is if you use this to kill a blue worm, they spent 2 and drew a card. You spent 2 and got nothing. So they
yeah,
came out ahead in that exchange. And sometimes you can trade down in control decks, but you don't want to trade down that much when there's also just really like the bar to be a removal summon in fire is so high. We'll talk. We can talk with Michael about this at some point, if people are
I
interested.
I think that would be a spectacular idea. So unfortunately, didn't get particularly far with this one in Wollongongs, but I did have another LQ event today. That one I got very far in. In fact, I got so far that I am no longer a runner-up. I actually got the win with this deck. So uh, happy times once again. Like, what if this deck is if this deck is ticking, it is so hard to combat.
I mean, you're just attacking on so many different axes. You're a monster deck, which is already one of the hardest things to like. Again, if you're in ice, those cards might as well say indestructible on them. Like, you play a blue worm, that blue worm is either blocking a point of damage or doing a point of damage, or being sacked to which to kill something. Like,
Yeah,
it might as well be a crystal.
yeah,
If you play against lightning, a lot of lightning does not have that many ways to deal with monsters. Water can really only bounce them, or, like, in very rare instances they'll have Gao, and Gao can do the funky thing where he forcibly animates your monster so that you can then kill it some other way. But, like, it's really hard to interact with that.
yeah, yeah. Um, I did, and I actually faced a lot of fire decks today. So my round one was against Monofire Warriors. it ended up happening that I got to three. I've received 3 points of damage. The deck switched on. My opponent thought that he had like there was a turn where he played Tyrus out, and he had as the Firewind Zidane in play, and he, clicks the Tyrus button, and plays Wicklemont. He tries to go, okay, I'm going to try and get rid of Witch of the Fens. I have Witch of the Fens, Miria, and Dark Knight Cecil in play. I go, cool. Tag out, attempt to draw a card. He's like, okay, I can't let that resolve. I'm going to pitch to Amaterasu the Cecil. I'm like, sure. In response, let me switch on a blue worm and throw it at you. So I end up killing the Wicklemart and the Tivus in the same in that same breath. I let the Amaterasu resolve, kills the Cecil, gets rid of the Zidane, and Wicklemart does not resolve because there's not 5 characters in play. So
Deserved for playing Firewind Cecil in the deck, to be honest.
yeah, but
Or
so
Firewind
that
Zidane.
that was that
Yeah.
was round one. My opponent very quickly scooped after that. I
Yeah,
don't
there's no
blame him in
coming
the
back from
slightest.
that. You sacked one thing, and
And I board wiped him.
yeah,
Yeah,
you board wiped him and stripped his hand because he had to amot the Cecil to stop a card draw. Like,
yeah.
there's no coming back from that.
There really isn't. My next round was against Icewind Crystals. This one basically went to the limit. My opponent at one stage had 6 crystals in play with a Yuffie. He ended up spending all of the crystals to get rid of my board at the cost of his Yuffie, which was a fair trade for him. He didn't spend any CP to get the crystals, and I spent CP to have a Golbez and a Cecil in play. So, fair trade.
Hmm.
But then he had no crystals, and I was able to very quickly rebuild a board. Turns out when you've got so many cards that say draw a card on them, you do end up rebuilding really
I
quite
mean, the
fast.
curve is
So
just so low too. I mean, if you look at it, this Cecil is actually just this doesn't have a 5. That's a 2 in the corner. This is a
yeah,
3 but draws a card. This is a
that's
2
one.
that probably draws a card.
That's
Like,
zero.
this is a 5 that actually draws a card and plays something else for free. Like,
So that's also a zero.
yeah,
The Fire Cecil, if you're actually casting it, it's a 2, but if you're not, it's a 0.
yeah. Like, it's just like the curve is just so low, and if they board wipe you, you go, okay, cool. Um,
That's weird.
Mira, Akalu, Blue Worm, Witch. I'm
Yeah,
right back
like
where I started.
yeah. It's just so brutal. But we ended up having a board state where I had something like I think I had pretty much every single named forward in play, um, with like 3 monsters, and my opponent has the widest board you've ever seen Icewind deploy. Um, he's got Loz, he's got Undead Princess, he's got Van, he's got Y'shtola, he's got a couple of limit break cards. He's got the 5-drop Yuffie this time, but he's empty-handed. He doesn't have a hand. He's trying to go for an Alpha Strike. I'm at 4 points of damage at this point, um, but he can't attack, and his board goes away because I just start switching on my monsters and start throwing them. Like, here's
Yeah,
Meg
7K
7,
shrink, 7K
7K,
ping, 2K
2K.
ping. Like, every single one of those, it starts rounding up very quickly.
Yeah, if I'm sacrificing one monster to kill 2 forwards like with every single one of those, there's nothing that you can really do about it.
And then if they
In the
attack, you
end,
just throw the Mira in the way, and the Mira is blocking as a 13K.
yeah,
It's like, yeah,
it's ridiculous. So I ended up getting across the line in that one. Because like none of my forwards died, it was just my monsters. Round three was against Mono Water, and uh, the deck did stumble a bit. Got itself to 5 backups very quickly. then proceeded to draw absolutely nothing for the rest of the game. Um, while my opponent just went, cool, here's hard cast levy, bounce, bounce, kill that. Um, here's here's limit break Titus. Let's tuck that back up away. And I start losing resources really quickly to that. And it's the first time this deck had actually not dealt a point of damage to the opponent. So it was a really, really harsh game. But it's
Let's shake it off. Go next. Yeah.
yeah, dust yourself off, reset, go to the next one. Which was against another modifier. And yeah, I played a lot of Amaterasu today.
But
But
again, like it almost like they'll not witch because they probably have to. But like that doesn't even feel that bad for you. It's like cool. We just mutually chose to discard, a card and 3 CP.
yeah,
And also, while
but
it's on the field, I'm going to wipe your whole board.
yeah, because I don't need some of these monsters in play. Um, yeah, I in that particular game, no, I did it like for some reason. Don't ask me how. The deck decided to turn itself into an aggro tempo deck.
I mean, that
Um,
also happened. Like that's the weirdest thing about this Earth Water Shell for me is how many games I have won and I've seen Paul win on like one backup or like on two backups, and it's like as soon as you get that first backup down, Golbez functions, and paying 3 for Cecil is like fine, right? Like it's a 3 cost forward that draws a card and gives you a bunch of upside.
yeah,
And like Mira, if you pay 2 for Mira's totally fine at 2. Most of the 2 cost monsters, if you ditch a water card to play a blue worm, that's totally fine. And next thing you know, you just kind of can end up where you have one backup, a Golbez, a Shadow Dragon, a Blue Worm, and your opponent's taking 3 damage, and they're looking at lethal next turn, and they're like, "I thought you were like a mid-range control deck. Where did this come
yeah.
from?"
Well, that's the thing. Like the Ice Wind game that I was talking about just before. Like while we both had like massive boards of forwards, I was running on 2 backups for a significant portion of that game. Like it was Star Sybil and it was Lena. That was it. And it just like it goes. If it just does everything you want it to do. It's such a powerful deck. In this particular game though, like my opponent sort of just like you durdled around a little bit, set some backups up. He did not deal me any damage. I dealt myself damage, and that was the only damage that he dealt to me. So
But
I ended up dealing to myself. I ended up dealing 9 points of damage to that in that game, and 2 of them were to myself. So
I mean, as long as you get that first damage for Mira as well, where like she becomes a functional FFTCG card, like Mira for a Malboro, Mira for an Akalu is always nice.
oh,
Like,
that was the exact play that ended up happening.
yeah.
Like I mirror like I Cecil took a point of damage, had an Upkalu in the bin. I play the mirror, get the Upkalu back, and all of a sudden I've got three extra permanents in play that I didn't have before. I think the funniest thing that happened in that particular game though was my opponent goes, "I'm gonna play Cloud, and I'm going to 8k your Cecil and break your Cerberus." I'm like, "Sure. What about the mirror?" So he's like, "I do Cloud. I kill 2 of your things." I'm like, "Sure. 7k, 2k. Bye bye Cloud." It's just like, oh, oh, that's a thing.
Yeah, no, it's like this Cecil, I think, is the card I might have most underrated in a long time. It just plays so much better than it reads, and I do think part of it is I didn't conceptualize that he triggered himself when he died. So like you're gonna get the 8K paying off almost no matter what. And I think I'm also just I've been so Refia brained of like death triggers don't exist, but like even in Refia decks things die. Like there are times you have to go for the Ferris board wipe and don't have time for the Refia. I mean, goodness knows nowadays maybe the Refia has gone to damage or something unfortunately, and now like your only way of doing it is the Ferris pings. Like this Cecil will get his value.
Yeah, absolutely. It's even better because like, yes, it says 15 forwards in that top left-hand corner, but you have a look at all the monsters in there, and I
One,
think there's
two, three,
only
four,
three
five,
that don't
six.
turn into forwards.
Yeah, and especially when you also factor in like the Golbez with multiple Shadow Dragon stuff, like it feels like the game is glitching on you when it does that. Like the game's
Yeah.
like this works, but it shouldn't.
Yeah. So a surprisingly quick game against that Bonfire matchup. So 3-1 going into the like go into the top cut, and you'll never guess it. I'm playing against another Monofire deck.
Naturally.
This is three different players, three different Monofire decks. Um, this is another Monofire Warriors deck, um, and the deck just fires on every single possible cylinder that it can. Like it just everything connects, everything works. Like there's multiple stages of the game where my opponent's like, oh, I'm gonna play this and do this and do this and do this. I'm just like, yeah, okay, that all resolves. My turn. Cool. I'm gonna do this, 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 and this, and your board's gone. But I still had these monsters, so I'm attacking you for points of damage now. Um, it's just stupid what this like
Yeah,
what it could pull
it's
off.
really
So
good. And then the finals.
yes, uh, against Fire Ice Warriors. So
I
I
will say,
played
like, one of
against.
the weird issues that might come into play would be specifically Axstar.
Mhm.
Just because, and almost for a dumb reason, but like just locking your forwards and like, sure, you could still have the blue worms. But you don't really want to like use the blue worms for blocking or anything like that. So it's like if they play the Axstar and kill Witch, if you know, or like kill Witch with like Victoria or something, uh, that's a rough spot for this deck to be because it does lock every single forward, and then any monsters, like again, you don't necessarily want to use them for that type of purpose, so they can get in damage, they can prevent you from doing damage, which is also important. Like it kind of
Yeah,
time locks you as far as actually pushing.
yeah. At the same token, though, if you've got Witch and Cecil in play, and you've got a bunch of like blue worms and stuff like that, you kind of can just completely like quote unquote Amaterasu the Arcstar without Amaterasuing the Arcstar, if that makes sense. So the only thing that they really get is the Dull Freeze.
Yeah.
And half the time that affects themselves as well because they've played the Arcstar off of a Tyvus. Um, I will say though, the first game at the finals was very much a non-game. My opponent did end up getting like to, he has 5 backups and all this sort of stuff, but he saw 0 Tyvus and 0 Amaterasu. And it's just like,
Oh
well,
no.
what do you do? What do you do with that? Like, your deck is called Warriors, and the key warrior is not seeing the field. Um, Game two was a little bit of a different story. I was on the back foot for I want to say about a third of the game. Uh, then everything just switched on, like as it does. The only game that I dropped today was against the Mono Water list.
So
Everything beyond that was just a clean sweep.
quick question. Star Sybil, I think, is a card that's probably pretty underrated.
Hmm.
Was she pretty good for you on the day? Like, did you crack her to play Cecil's from hand for free? And
I did actually crack Star Sibbles to play Cecil's. I cracked it to play Golbez's. Um, I think one of the MVP cards was actually not the Star Sybil, but the Kate Sif just above it.
oh
Uh,
yeah, so you have three targets: the Kate Sith, the Karaha Baraha, and the Blue Mage.
I also have the Mandragora still, which is a fourth target, and I've
Oh,
got the Shintoto. So I've got 5 targets
okay,
for the Star Sybil.
but so Kate Sith allowing you to actually cast your Cecils, cast your. I mean, casting Shadow Dragon isn't even that bad sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I got to in the second game in the finals, I got to damage 3 very quickly, and Kate Sith was just like, "Cool, I can now hardcast myself. I could hardcast my Cloud Limit Break." Um,
That's
and I did
disgusting.
so
Yeah,
actually, which is just absolutely hilarious. Like the Star Sybil is just like I know people say, oh, it's a 5 cost backup. It only
it's
searches for one
Tyro.
thing. It is just Tyro.
Like,
Like
and
it.
here's the funny thing: it's Tyro that cashes itself out. You like, if you resolve all the text on this card and play a 6 cost forward, it's slow. It takes an extra turn, but it refunds more than you put into it because you get the card back on the search, and then it can refund the 5 that you put into it and the one that's tapped. I guess you technically, when it taps itself, that's the 6th one. But like, it literally will cash itself out for as much as you put into it with a burst that gets the best board wipe in the game.
Yeah,
I don't understand why this card isn't seeing play.
I think people are just having a little bit of PTSD from Tyro at the moment, but
And then like
we'll let them recover from that.
and it helps like these are great backups. Like Karaha, I think is so good. Like
Hmm.
I call these like I guess I don't have a name for them, but like
Primos.
Karaha, Astrologian, Vieira. These are like they're just backups that like if you have them in your opener, you never have to mulligan because your mulligan is what Karaha is showing you anyway. You're going to see the top 4 cards. You're going to get the card you wanted if you mulliganed anyway. Bin the worst card from among them, or if you find a Shadow Dragon to bin off of it, even better. And it's like if you have nothing else and you have a Karaha in your opening hand, you can keep it. And like there's
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
value in that because it means you don't have to mulligan poorly. Artemisian's another one of these
yeah,
backups that just
absolutely.
like show you enough of your deck that you don't. Reeve and Lightning is another one.
Schultz is another one.
Yeah, Ricard if you're in a mono lightning deck as well.
Hmm.
Like it's so powerful, and I think these cards get slept on. Like I don't see this card played enough in like mono earth for sure.
Yeah, like another great thing that you could do with Karaha Baraha as well is because it looks the 4, and yeah, you could put the Shadow Dragon in the break zone, whatever. But if you have a Fire Cecil or a Cerberus among those cards, you've just basically saved yourself a draw step. Like you get to put those cards to the bottom of the deck, which is exactly where you want them because you want to search for them out of the deck.
Yeah,
It's spectacular.
yeah, it's almost better than it's almost better than drawing a card at that point would be like saying like no, I don't
But it
want
still
this.
draws you a card too.
Yeah,
It still draws you
it's
a
still a
card.
4 CV backup that draws a card. It's just the best card in your top 4. And say you have a Sarah in play and you don't want the second Sarah. Cool, bin it. Now I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Like it's I have a
You find a
Golbez in
Shadow
play.
Dragon, bin it.
Yeah, I have a Golbez in play. Screw it. I don't need the second Golbez. Let's put that in the break. So now I don't have another dark card in my deck. The rest of my deck is all gas.
Yeah.
Just so good. And then Blue Mage, I think, is just a good card as well. Again, being able to do this anytime, just bring back Armin for to kill something. Great.
Ahriman, Cerberus, Shadow Dragon. All 3 of those cards say kill something, and you could do it at instant speed.
Yeah. So no,
Like
super
one of
super
the
neat.
yeah, like the finals, like one of the last moves in the finals, and massive credit to Paulie for convincing us to play the Cagnazzo. Um, Limit Break Golbez is in play, and my opponent goes, I'm going to play Cyan. I'm going to spend 5 CP to gain 5 crystals. On the stack of you gaining those 5 crystals, let me just pay 3 CP and make you sack the board wipe.
And just not even sack it, send it to the break zone. They don't get to pick. It's gone.
Yeah,
See ya.
I choose your board wipe. Your board wipe is going away, sir. That's absolutely hilarious. And then, but
I
like by the time they finally got rid of the limit break Golbez, I'm just like, oh, cool. Um, the actual Golbez,
I that's even playing this again as just Refia LB is good. As pay
mm-hmm.
6, put a 9K and a 3K that kill something into play is
Yeah,
good. And then it also just occasionally you can just pump it into playing a second removal spell from deck. What a broken LB.
yeah. Like every single, like I mentioned before at the very start of us looking at this deck, every single piece of this deck works to perfection,
Yeah. It's
and I think it's just the cleanest list that I've ever played at this stage. Like there are decks that are just they do their shenanigans, like they do all their bullshit and they do their thing. This is no bullshit.
I think the
It
rest of the
is
world's going to catch on to this eventually. I don't think it's going to stay a secret for very long.
well, not if we keep talking about it.
No, definitely. We're very bad at keeping secrets. We don't shut up about things.
But it's I if you're a dedicated monster player, and you haven't tried this deck out yet, give it a shot. It is unbelievable the amount of intricacies, the amount of lines, the amount of back and forth gameplay that this deck is capable of, and it just it just works. Every single piece works. Lena is always like one of the strongest cards there. We talked about Star Silver before. The No word of a lie, I put the single copy of Thornton in there as a 15th backup just because I could. I didn't even use it all day. It was just a card that was in my deck.
The emotional
But
support Thornton.
yeah, it's an emotional support Thornton. But the thing is, if you happen to flip that card as a burst and you get whatever you want
It's a
out of the
messed up
deck,
burst. they
it's
they really should not have put a EX in the corner of that card.
yeah, like it's and they printed that the set after Star Symbol. Anyway, I think that's
Yeah,
probably enough
yeah.
enough
We'll
about
move on to
my
talking about me. I had a quiet week. There was one LQ, but I was at a wedding, so I didn't get to go to it in Victoria. Um, but that's totally fine. I did play, trying to get into the swing of things. We have our little online locals that we play on Wednesday, and then on Tuesday I had a second testing day. I'm trying win. I'm trying win bullshit, and trying to see where I get with it. So something I actually took a look at. I tried to apply the current logic from the wind water decks, and I said, okay, I'm playing these. These seem really powerful. I like them. Let me just back up one tiny bit. Let me make sure that there isn't an Earth Wind variant that's better that I can play. Because as anybody that's followed me for a couple of years knows, I love Earth Wind. Like Earth Wind is my jam. And it's been bad. It's been really bad for a while, actually. This is the closest it's felt to being playable since Opus 21. And like I don't think it's better than the Wind Water, but I don't think it's that far behind for the first time. It's good. I've been playing this. I also played some Wind Water the next day. I need to figure out like some kind of a method for this, and people should talk to me at some point. But I want to get a second video going, and I don't know what the best way to do it is because people don't tend to watch gameplay videos from me. And I don't know what I'm missing on that to make those more palatable, but people like hearing me out. They don't like watching me play the game, which is fine. Like that's not a problem, but it is something that's. So I don't know what the correct way of going about that will be in the future or what to do with it. But like I would love to get like a second thing going that's not just the podcast. I love the podcast; it's great, but that one more video a week I think would go a long way towards helping myself and the community as well. But I've been playing these and kind of applying the same like you don't have to do the crazy bullshit right now. You just have to do the normal thing. And I think Earthwind has a lot that it can do that kind of makes it in contention for something with that. Again, I think that Noctis is just maybe one of the best multi-element cards ever printed. It's so good at what it does. It's got the burst in the corner. It's removal. The removal type that it is very difficult to interact with because it gets through damage protection for the most part. Prompto and Gladio are extremely cheap. They go like it helps feed the cast engine. If you get to even without a Tilica in play, if you're on damage 3, you go Prompto, search Noctis, activate Iris, play Noctis, activate Iris, search Gladio, play the Gladio, activate Iris, swing with the Prompto, draw 2 cards. Like it feeds itself so well, and those 2 draws are often enough to keep going. You've triggered your Rosa here as well on that third cast, so your backups are active. You've drawn 2 cards. You can usually find some way of getting Luso to go through there. Some interesting stuff that I'm trying here. If the logic is lower ceiling, go fast, I thought that having the Shantoto backup that is a multi-element backup instead is probably actually better than the board wipe because I don't want to take the time off for the board wipe. I want to go faster. Shantoto helps me to go faster into the board wipe.
Mhm.
Silica is one of those cards I'm still not sure of. I think she's too powerful to not play, but I also think she's too risky to play sometimes. So you have to kind of like gauge that. She's really slow, which I think is the issue that I noticed with this deck when I was playing it. It felt slower than the Wind Water list, but I do think the pieces feed themselves better than the wind water list does sometimes. Because the wind water list, the pieces are helpful in some ways, but they don't talk to each other. I think in the same way that the earth wind list does.
I
Where
think that yeah, like the wind water list at the very least that I noticed, it kind of tears itself in two different directions. So this list looks like it's a bit more of like a cohesive unit. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Ignis also has EX burst in the corner. Is that right?
yeah, I mean, I've
Yeah,
got 12 bursts actually, which is much higher than your average like wind storm deck, which is nice. The 3Q
yeah,
Siths, which this is probably one of my favorite cards in the game, and getting to play this in a cast deck is so nice. The 3 Noctises, the 1 Citra, the 2 Ignises, the Alexander. Like you probably get to you're gonna hit a burst on average once per game with this deck, which is
yeah.
nice.
I mean, if Tilico doesn't end up being the right card, maybe a third Ignis goes there instead because that means you've got an extra burst in there. Like maybe the Gladio gets swapped out for the other one, so you can search for the Noctis easier, get more bursts. So
Probably would do
there's
Cryo at that point just to have a different name. Like the named backups matter a lot. Like Cryo could arguably go in over the Rydia if the burst matters as well. Like the summon's going to be in the break zone anyway. But like,
yeah.
um, I will say this
But
summoner backup has been really impressive. I don't know if this is the right card for this slot either. Over what I used to play was Vieira, but I wanted to try out the summoner. It felt really good. There were definitely turns where it's like, cool, I'm on 5 backups. I'm going to crack this, get pot agreed back, and keep going. Right? Like Vieira can't do that, but it is slower,
yeah,
which is going to be an issue. But like like I said, I think it's close. I don't know if it's the right take over the wind water list that's doing so well in Japan. I think the wind water list is. I think this is maybe the hardest deck I've ever played. This wind water list.
it definitely feels it, definitely looks it. Like I can't disagree with you on that. Like it just seems like from my perspective, any single time that I've picked up the deck, I feel pulled in two completely different directions. Like, do I want to do cast count? Well, I'm sorry, you don't have enough casts to do the Luso board wipe. Do I want to do monsters? Oh, sorry, you don't have enough monster shenanigans to do the clean monster work. I I feel like I understand all of the pieces in their individual slots. It just seems like
But like they do feed into it. I mean, like again, if you look at like what does wind want? It wants a lot of cheap casts and cantrips, which is a 3 cost that draws you a card. It's not that dissimilar to playing something like Lulu. She just draws you from the deck instead. Apollo is probably a
yeah,
card that if there was a wind water cast deck, you might just max out on 3 anyway. Ochu, again, 1 CP make 2. It's a pyretic ritual in Magic or whatever it is, where it's like the zoos are totally like fine and playable cards, and sometimes you play the zoo, play the witch, draw the card, and then sack the zoo, and even though the witch can't sack anything, it still works. Um, like they do feed each other. It's just a matter of sometimes you draw pieces in the wrong order. Like the first witch, oftentimes you don't have the monsters in play. You don't have the right monsters in play sometimes to make that like great. Like, and if you have like a zoo in play, witch can come in, but you're either activate all your backups, or you're letting your opponent kind of get away with what they want to. And witch has such a huge target on her back in general. Um,
yeah.
the
The
fact that
one
it
thing I
needs
will
two
say for
Ishtola because it's deathly afraid of Mono Earth and Tidus as well. Like having the I will say Raise is something that like Earthwind, if it could play Raise, would be so much better. That is such a messed up ability to have on your opponent's turn, especially with
yeah,
a Zoo in hand, where you can just discard it, activate the Lena and the Sarah, and then do it when they can't even expect it. Oh, it's
yeah.
nasty.
Yeah, like but the one thing I will say that I think is probably a benefit more for this deck as sort of like a slower long game control deck is that the burst count is actually relatively high when compared to like standard mono wind lists. Like standard mono wind are usually around 3 to 5 bursts at most. Here you're sitting at 14, which is
The other
not an
thing I
insignificant
noticed,
amount.
the backups are so fast. Like it is the fastest backup engine that the game has to offer. Like again,
It's two backup engines,
it's 2
like just
backup
mashed
engines,
together.
but they're smashed together. But it's a 3 cost backup at the burst that searches a 3 cost backup that searches a relatively fine 2 cost backup. A 4 cost
Even if it's
backup
just a
that
vanilla
searches
backup.
yeah, a 4 cost backup that searches a 3 cost searches a 2 cost. That's a fat chocobo line. Like
Yeah.
It's almost better than Fat Chocobo because it's split into multiple casts, and you can hold it like it's worse in some ways if you don't have the water card to play the Lena and you really want to get 3 backups. Like there's situations in which Fat Chocobo is better, but like in general, Lena has more text than anything in the Fat Chocobo line does. I guess maybe Chocolate is pretty good, but
Chocolate does say draw a card repeatedly, but so does Lena for that
yeah, so
matter.
does Lena.
But
Lena also
yeah,
says you could play 2 copies of Rosa and still have access to her when you need to, or more copies of Witch, or a negate,
or
which
Stola, yeah.
like
It's the one thing that I do like as well in this specific build is every single one of the forwards is a raise target, which is absolutely massive. I can't say that about my Water Earth list.
yeah,
Even though everything in there is quote unquote cheap, it's also actually quite costly. Like the initial cost is somewhat high. Here, the initial cost is low, so like Lena actually does a lot more work in this list than it does in that one. But I still like Lena; it's a great card.
yeah. Luso's just in such a good spot too, and that's the thing that's nice about Luso as well. A lot of the time, we talk a lot about how like when you play against Wall, which I think is probably the best deck in the game right now, you want to kill Warrior of Light and leave the rest. And Luso has the ability to do that. Like 8K is the sweet spot to like leave the problem card in play and kill everything else.
Mm.
But even if you want to kill that, thanks to Lulu, it's pretty easy to. And if you've gone that far, where you Luso, you usually have multiple backups in play. You've got a couple monsters. You probably have a Lulu in play, maybe a Rosa. It's really hard to die on the backswing. Even till like you could survive a Gilgamesh sometimes if you've done that. Like if they go for like a Gilgamesh, like or like another flip, you're usually in a spot where it's not that big of a deal
Yeah,
compared to
and you also have Kukulkan as sort of like a quote unquote out to the card as well, because it's like, oh, I managed to sort of do the sweep, but I've only got like 2 forwards in play and I'm at 5 points of damage. You
yeah,
can Gilgamesh me. Oh no, Kukulkan.
yeah Kuchu pulling double duty as also like the Kadaj answer, the Seymour answer, the like just like a one
And
mana
it's
cantrip. And like it also
it's
like
still
you
a
could
cantrip.
just I say it's a cantrip. You can also just cast this, target your own something like target your own Citra. Who cares? Target
Yeah,
your own Blue Worm if you need to. Target your Ochu and turn it into not a forward anymore. Um, which honestly, that could even be a play sometimes. Block with Ochu and then Kuchu it on your opponent's turn to not lose the monster and play for a witch in the future. Like it's just a very flexible card for the actual cost of it. I don't discard 2 to your Kadaj at the end of your turn. Like it's really good.
yeah. And again, like it costs you in essence 0 CP to do.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this deck is like I could feel the speed difference between the Wind Water and the Earth Wind. I like the Earth Wind. I had a turn where I went from nothing and I had like 10 forwards in play, and Redcap was looking at me like, "What on earth? Like, how on earth did you get from that to that?" It's like, well, you see, I went through the entire retainer line with the Rosa in play, and then Luso Jew, and I now have everything I could ever possibly want in rotation.
Yeah.
But
It just depends on how um, like how magical Christmas land that sort of
yeah,
deal ends up being, I guess. But
again, I'm very worried about Mono Earth because they're like if Mono Earth can deal with the Ashtola, they can lose like and like the Tilica is the juiciest thing for T to stack on the top and just like even just leave it there afterwards. Like no, you can replay the Tilica, go right ahead. You're dead when
yeah,
you do.
like because it's literally a 3 CP backup that does absolutely
It
nothing at
does
all.
nothing. And honestly, like even on turn like you play around like the play pattern is turn 1 Nourish, turn 2 Tilica. Turn 3, you really don't usually get value out of Tilica. Like it's very hard to get full value out of Tilica until like turn 4, turn 5, and then she becomes ludicrous. Like it's comical what this card does once you get there. But she is. I had a weird issue with it where I was not drawing backups as well. This was also applying to the Wind Water list. But like I'm on 16 backups and I wasn't drawing like Norstalin or Shantoto, which was like, come on, man. Like one of these has to show up eventually. Like this is not a thing.
And here I am sitting on 15 backups, and I'm just like, oh, I've got everything. Okay, cool,
Like,
thanks.
like I should not have any issues, especially like if you lead with Norstalin, the next turn you probably play the Tilica, and like that gives you 2 full turns of draws before you have to start like actually finding backups. You should find the Toto at some point, I imagine. But
Yeah.
no, I
I like
like
the
these a
inclusion of the
lot.
Thoughtseize Zidane as well. Like, I think that's just a really sweet little thing to have. Like, I know that the card is really quite old. It's an Opus 3 card, but just like for anybody that's watching the channel and like doesn't know what this card is, it is a walking Thoughtseize. It is a Thoughtseize that can attack your opponent. It's grief, basically. It is
I
grief.
mean, it's better than that. It can this can hit lands if you're talking Magic.
Yeah.
Um, no,
Like
I mean
it is
like
grief that doesn't hit yourself. Like it's ridiculous.
yeah, it's also like in the element that's most capable of flickering it effectively.
Yeah.
And putting it into play multiple times. It's in here because I'm so scared of the Mono Earth matchup, and I think the two cost is in kind of a rough spot until the monster. Like if the Earth Water monster deck takes off, this Sedane starts to become really good.
Yes.
Because like everything in that deck is things that this deck wants. But like if you're playing against Gigawall, there's not that much you want to steal. If you play against Ice Wind, you could steal a Remnant. Cool. Like your opponent's
Yeah.
going to say
I
thank
got
you
a
because
three
you
CP.
removed it from the game from them, so now their Kadaj comes online sooner.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
like I congratulations, you have a 3 CP 7K vanilla. Like,
like
yeah,
basically,
you did the thing. Good work.
yeah, like everybody's cards are better in their decks than it is in yours. So you're drawing two cards, but you're like kind of drawing bad cards a lot of the time. And like for this deck, I don't need the card draw. I need to not die to Leo Altitas. And you could kind of break that up with that. That's the idea. I don't know how correct that is. I don't. Again, I was thinking like I can go faster, go faster, go faster, but like, and Zidane doesn't help that. But like sometimes slowing your opponent down is the right thing to do in that situation. I don't know.
Well, the thought process is like you could go faster by making your opponent go slower.
Yeah,
Like you're not changing your speed. Like you're still going at the same speed, but your opponent's slowed down. Like that's the whole idea with correct me if I'm wrong, the whole idea with the anima icon of icons, right? Because just because, you're like, both players are empty-handed, but your opponent's Dolphreeze, you like
yeah.
they've
They don't
literally
have a
just
next turn. You yeah
they've taken a turn off, which means that they've slowed down, but you're still going at the same pace. That's not necessarily like it's not that it's you're speeding up, it's that they're slowing down because you're forcing them to.
yeah. I'm looking at like every like I've got an Icewind list. I can pull that up real quick if people are interested. But like trying to find what the right second element is. I don't think Mono Wind is correct right now. I think that Mono Wind is like it's a little bit one dimensional in one note for me compared to what like other decks are capable of. I really want to do Wind Lightning because I think the Wind Lightning Cloud actually is a card that would be really good in the current meta. There's just nothing that Lightning offers Wind other than that card. It's like there's a couple of Vikings. There's one Viking you can play, and then like you could squint and play Hooded Man as like shitty Warrior of Light, but
Yeah. Like at the very least, like if you are doing like Hooded Man and the Fusoya, like you do at very least get a searcher in element to get those cards. So it's not you use your wind CP to get the lightning CP that you could potentially use to play the cloud, blow up the two things, go to
yeah,
town from there. Um, if there's anything like maybe Ulmia opens up a door that you didn't have access to before, like if there's any 6 cost characters in Lightning and Wind that you want to do other than Cloud, like that's a
yeah,
potential
like
thing.
that's
But
kind of just the problem. Like I guess like the next best one would be like you could play a copy of Fina, but like I don't want to go Olmia Fina as two casts in a deck. That sounds awful.
oh, that's not just awful, that's depressing.
Like
Um,
yeah, you're not winning a lot of games when you're doing that. I feel like so again, I don't know what the right like list of cards is. Like I said, Hooded Man. There's the Fusoya from Opus 20 that like has a burst, and if you have two summons, it draws a card when you play it. Like that card is like acceptable. And then like from there, it's like the backup engines as well. Norstalin's best target is really not what you want to be playing. It's like either the Scry uke or like the bounce back to your hand uke are your options, but like you don't have the clean 4 into a 3 that draws a card line.
yeah.
Um,
I do see that your favorite card is in here though.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Eureka will tell you even, who I kind of trust as one of the authorities on like storm decks. He's like, if the Moogle went the other way in Wind, Mono Wind would play this card. If it was like the Wind Moogle tapped for Ice instead of the Ice Moogle tapping for Wind, like this is like the best Storm card ever printed in his mind. So
I will sort of like my sort of thought process with Icewind in particular is I don't necessarily think it's a deck that needs to get to 7 to play the game. Like it doesn't it's not as desperate to Luso people. You can just win the game off of 3 casts every turn because Sid Haze is just that good,
yeah, if you
and
can
Locke
do
only
that,
needs
like
3 other casts.
yeah, if you could do that every single turn with Sid Haze, where you go like I did that a couple times. It was like turn 2 Sid Haze into 3 casts every turn for the rest of the game. Sometimes that will win games. Just very hard to do that when you can also just Luso them sometimes.
Yeah. Like
So
it is just sort of one of those things. Like I I understand like the idea of wanting to be able to get to 7 and do the Luso thing, but I don't know. Like Icewind kind of seems like a 3 casts every turn deck rather than like a one big burst 7 cast, oh you're dead sort of thing. Like
yeah,
that's just sort of my thought process behind it. Like
I mean the summons
obviously
in this
everybody's got
deck
their own
seems so
opinions
good
on it.
because like you have the Len, that you have Terra as like more copies of Lulu. Like this deck is able to run up to 12 copies of a card that gets back a summon from the break zone in a way. If you ran the max number of Len, Citras, like you can do some messed up stuff if you keep getting your summons back in these decks.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on from talking about us. Let's talk about other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, like this spectacular Dublin Materia Cup that happened last weekend now. We sort of glossed over it briefly, but we didn't really get an opportunity to speak about it in great detail. The winning list is this Icewind Crystals deck. I love the summon line. So
This
much
is
more
this. I mean, this
streamlined,
is that's my summon line for Icewind. Like it's
so much
so
cleaner.
clean. It is fast. Like again, if you to me when I'm playing Icewind, I think you should be trying to go faster. Like that's what the Marsh and the Yuffie are telling me to do. The Shiva is the best go fast card in the entire game. It is a free
Yeah.
card that gets a problem thing out of the way, doesn't deal
Mhm.
with it, but that's fine, and it costs you nothing. It is the best turbo card we've ever had.
Yeah, and sometimes even not like not getting it off the board is preferable. Like you think about cards like Axstar, like Axstar is all ETB effects, right?
Yeah,
You just keep dull freezing it every turn,
I mean
and
that was the
it's
game
just
plan when I won with the Ice Lightning deck at Continentals 2 years ago. That was because I knew the deck could not handle Axstar. It was the worst thing ever when my opponent played Axstar. My deck was full of 4 costs, but when that Axstar hit, I had to be ready, and that Axstar was never going to untap. It was never going to die, and it was never going to attack. That was the game plan.
yeah. Like you can also see like one of the really cool things that I think in here is one copy of Rufus is just like
I mean, I think Rufus is
it just
still
does.
so
It's
much
still one
better
of
than
the
people think.
strongest cards in the game.
Yeah,
Like it's still
people
like
sleep on how annoying. Like there are games where you could just go like Seymour Rufus and win.
yeah, because your opponent doesn't have a board state anymore. It's like, oh yeah, like Rufus is just procking a discard every turn. Seymour's procking a discard and taking 2 backups away from you every
And
single turn.
and they
It's just like,
protect their attacks as well. Like if you need to, it's really hard to stop them from attacking. Especially Seymour. Like that's why Seymour is one of the reasons it's so good. Is like you can't really put a forward in front of it to stop it from attacking. You can sometimes do that with Rufus, and like
yeah,
Victoria is kind of a problem for Rufus, but like you just don't have to play it into those.
yeah. Like
It
the best way to get a Seymour off the board, like to enter a Seymour, is dull freeze it or just get it off the board altogether. The problem is that this leaves you open to play like your opponent to play another Seymour, and you're just like back in the same spot. And it's like, how the freaking hell did I get back here again? I
it
love
is
that it's running
interesting.
3 Marsh as well. Like
Yeah,
Marsh is a house of a card.
yeah. No, it anything that says draw two, like it says draw two, which again, it's why I think the retainer stuff, like Prompto says draw two on him as well. It's a little bit more work on that, but like draw two on attack is really good.
Oh yeah,
Um, and there's a lot of ways to protect him. Again, you have the Euphies, the Rufus, the Seymour, the Kadaj, the Yazoo. All of this helps the Marsh get in, which helps you to go
yeah.
faster. I'm a little
Shintaro plays a
surprised. I
board
know that
wipe
like
game.
a lot of people are really high on the Vaughn. I wasn't for a long time. I'm coming around a little bit, and not for the reasons that I ever thought. It's not the like. I always conceptualize the card as 2 crystals plus a special, but you also can just special twice, and the remnants just being 9 copies of Young Rahal makes that so much easier.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just the way that like the deck could generate so many crystals so quickly.
yeah,
Like,
it's very fast. It's a turbo deck. Now the other thing that scares me about this deck, and I'm curious what your thoughts are.
mm,
I'm worried this is a kind of like this is not a deck you have a ton of agency in sometimes. If you think about it, you have 1 card in the entire deck that searches. Everything else is just what am I drawing off the top of the deck? And sure, there's a lot of card draw. We have the Marshes, we have the Shivas. Toto can get the best card back. Marsh says draw 2 and play 1 for free. Like, there's a lot of card draw, but like that's all the deck has.
yeah,
If you need a
like
specific
that's sort of
piece,
its agency, really. Like, it wants to just try and turbo. It's like you're talking about like deep draw decks and stuff like that. Marsh is a like they use Marsh like a deep draw. They use Barts like a deep draw. They try to use the backups like a bit of a deep draw. They don't necessarily need to um search as much, but the thing that sort of uh like holds the deck back, in my personal opinion, is it's sort of like an aggressive tempo deck that if you do slow it down, like it's got no comeback agency, I don't think, because it's got 0 bursts, right?
yeah,
There's no way to
literally
sort of
zero
like,
bursts. And again, like I look at some of these, like the 3 cost backups are so bad after turn 3. Like you never want to see these after turn 3 usually. And you're playing the max number of them because they're the cards that help you to go the fastest, but they're also the worst cards in the deck once you have gone fast.
yeah, like I completely understand why they're there. Like,
Yeah,
you
again,
want, like,
I
it's
there's
a
nothing
card that
that's
says
better.
draw a card on it.
Yeah,
Like, it's a card that literally says draw a card on it. Um, and that's the sort of thought process, and that's like pretty much every single time that I've played against a deck like this, I've had barely any issues like playing against it.
yeah. I would
But
just
I've
like
always
again,
seen people struggling to play with it. Like, again, it could just be a case of we're playing it wrong, sort of thing, you know.
yeah,
But it feels like it's a deck that wants to go more aggressive than the cards are allowing it to, if that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, it's clearly by results one of the 3 best decks in the game. I would just be worried taking it to a tourney that I don't feel like it's a deck that I am going to have the agency to outskill my opponent and win. If I'm playing somebody that's that I don't think is as good as me, I don't think this is a deck that allows me to express that and win because of it, which is why I really enjoyed playing Raffia. I felt like Raffia was a deck that really allowed me to make a lot of decisions and smart play,
Mm.
and those are the reasons that I had so much success with the deck. I would be
Yeah,
worried that
this
playing a
this
deck
just
like
seems
this,
like a more, yeah,
yeah,
like just a more aggressive deck. Like, and that's probably for the best. Like, it just seems like it probably is a lot better that it is more of like an aggressive tempo deck that just like it will just like resource deny, and like it's simultaneous resource denial and resource gain, because you're drawing cards and making your opponent discard cards, and you're dull freezing and taking their resources away and that sort of stuff,
oh
right?
yeah. If
And
you
then
stick
you just
Marsh
use the
Kadaj, it's like I'm drawing 2 every turn, you're discarding 2 every turn. Like nothing beats that.
That's an 8 CP swing, by the way,
Yeah,
for those of us counting at home. And then you got Shintoto as a sort of a snap. Oh wait, you're dead.
again, this is the most messed up action ability in the entire game, and she's good when she's not in action. Like she's the best summon in she's arguably the best summon in the entire game, and also just
Hmm.
a good card.
Yeah, like
Like
if your opponent's like basically got their hand whittled down to nothing, you can play one cost Shintoto and pick up the most important card in your break zone,
I pick up a
and then you
Marsh,
happen to
play
have
it,
another
draw 2.
Shintoto in your hand. Yeah,
Like it's messed up. Speaking
there's a
of
lot of
messed
stuff.
up, we got to talk
Yeah,
about this abomination.
why don't you run us through? Because this is your brainchild. This has your fingerprints all over it. Run us through it.
So, I mean, this is Sam's brainchild. He just approached me and asked for a couple questions and some help. But I mean, this is something that I even noticed when I was playing. This Kane, if you have multiple specials, is impossible to get off the field, and nothing really matches it on rate. It's really hard if you could Kane special every single turn, yours and your opponent's. Which that's 2 cards every turn cycle. That's really not something that's going to happen But like, let's say we play in a perfect world, you played a deck of 50 Canes, and you warp this on turn one, and every single turn you special, 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 right?
Hmm.
Every single one of those cards that you're discarding is a zero cost summon that kills something during the end phase when they can't respond to it. You can't be more efficient than that. Like it doesn't exist. So then what ends up happening is like you have to either go faster than that, but again, this is the deck is really good at handling people that are trying to go fast, or you have to outstack it. But it's really hard to outstack a deck when they have, I think Sam was on stream once, flipped his hand over at the end of the game. And he had 4 Canes in it. It's like, how are you winning a stack war against that? Like, ever. Trying to kill a 9K first strike haste that whenever you target it or threaten it, it can just say, I discard a card and get out of the way. Like, think about, like, in Magic, how Psychic Frog is so impossible to deal with because, they discard a card and it's bigger now. This is better than that. It leaves the game, and then when it comes back, something dies.
Yeah,
Um,
like and go to the sort of the psychic frog comparison as well. It's like, oh, actually, you know what? Scrap psychic frog. I think this is failure.
I was
This
gonna say,
is
isn't there Nezahal like a control finisher where it's like every time your opponent casts a spell, you draw a card and you can discard 3 cards to blink it until the end of the turn?
yeah, like that's a thing as well. But I the main thing that I think of when I'm looking at this card and all the stuff that you're talking about is failure. Like failure is like it's something that comes in at instant speed. Whenever it attacks, it flickers something, right? But it can flicker your opponent's things too. So if they've got a token, bye bye token.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
get, and
really good. like and then
the only
like
thing,
and then like
like,
even just warping this sometimes. Granted, I think he even says in some matchups you don't warp it if you're afraid of like an Amaterasu and you don't have access to another one. But
yeah,
you don't want to
you
play a
can
forward
just
into
cast it
this.
because it doesn't create a stack.
Yeah, it doesn't create a stack. Like, and then like if they try to Amon it when it comes back, you could just discard another cop, you discard a cane, jump it, doesn't die. Like if it resolves and is in play, you cannot get this thing off the field. And it's
Yeah,
a 9K first strike when it's in play as well. So they have to try to get rid of it. There is one deck that can outstack it actually, and it's the one lost to in the finals, which is Icewind actually can potentially outstack this. Um,
but it also
because
just goes wider, doesn't it? Like
I mean, but like I don't think you can't really go wide enough. I was playing Wind Water into this, and I was having issues going wide enough into this card. Whereas like I would get like 4 forwards, past the turn, Kane would come in, and then they'd warp it, or they would jump it again the next turn, come back, and I'm down to 2 forwards again, and there's a 9K first striker that I have to force to jump again before I can even swing, and then when it jumps, it's gonna kill something. Like
yeah,
you
I mean,
get whittled down
if you've got
very
enough
fast.
crystals, then yeah, like if you've got enough crystals, then yeah, you could absolutely sort of
Yeah,
just get
it's
pissed off with it.
specifically like Icewind with like Kadaj if the thing gets like dull, where it's like, cool, I will spend a crystal to make you discard as many copies of Kane as you want, basically. Um,
Yeah.
there's some fun stuff here. I learned something with this Kane. I did not know that the way the text on this card worked. I read this card and thought like, this is terrible. Why are we running this at any number of copies? Surely there's better
Yeah,
Canes we can run.
tell
Um,
us about it.
Yeah, battle damage is a keyword or that I did that refers to the specific step that happens when a forward blocks or is blocked. You
Yep.
cannot fight this away. You can't Noctis it. You can't Hecaton it.
Hmm.
Um, there are decks that do not have an out to this card if you can special with it every turn.
Yeah, fire
Uh,
just has no way to get rid of it.
it, yeah, and like when you special it, it's a 10K first strike that cannot take damage any way other than battle damage. So if you're it's a 3 cost. You can't dull freeze it with Axstar. If you're like a mono fire deck and you don't have a Zondi or a Kuch Aspel, this thing will wall you forever, which is hilarious. Some other neat stuff. I think the Garuda is in one of the best spots this card's ever been. If you remember back towards like Opus 22, Opus 23 when this card first came out, it showed up a bit in like Ice Lightning decks as
A
like the
small amount, yeah. Because I think the most popular deck at the time was Knights, right? So it basically just said, "I'm going to kill all the 2-drop Knights," or
yeah. It also kills like if your opponent's on a Giga Wall list, like they'll get a lot of value out of the Giga Wall, but everything all the 3 costs died to this. Um,
a
it's
lot
not
of them do.
uncommon
Yeah.
to find like a deck that's on 4s. If If you're against like a Gull Wings player, you can call 3. That'll kill the Riku, which gives you the ability to deal with the Yuna potentially at the end of the turn with the
Mhm.
jump. Um, yeah, I don't. Even MBM, you can call 3 and kill the Pinello and the Fran,
The
which
Fran
is
too.
like that's not it's not amazing, but like
It's not nothing either.
yeah, like it's pretty live in most. And honestly, 5 cost kill something is not a bad rate in general.
Mm.
So if you get more than one thing, that's just a bonus.
Yeah.
Um,
The only thing that I could really think of, like I'm trying to think about whether or not it might potentially be maybe a little more correct to go into water instead and use the Rosa, because then you can almost always guarantee you're getting the cane out of the deck, and then you can use like another burst cane to like basically use that to draw a card. You can use Porum, you can use Rosa, and then like you just sort of build the deck from there. If you remember back to when we were looking like early in the format, that's like the Water Lightning
the
high burst
FF4,
deck.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I've
something similar
adapted
to
that for
that
Paul,
maybe.
with adding in the Earth for the Rydia as well. But yeah, no, like that's definitely a possibility. I do want to call out one of the funniest things in this deck is the miner to try to find the cane backup, which is just one of those
On that
things.
note, it's running 21 backups. I know 3 of them are card named Kane, so they're just used for Kane specials, but it's still so many
Yeah,
backups.
no,
Like,
it's
surely
18.
we could
It's
trim those,
18
right?
real backups.
Yeah, like
Um,
surely we could trim that a little bit, right?
to some degree, yeah. Like the idea is like the combination of the miner. Like when you're running the 3 canes for the jumps anyway, like there's not that many canes worth playing ultimately.
Yeah,
And
that's another thing I got as well. Like maybe there's like different like other canes you could think about running like a different quality canes and stuff like that.
I
Just like
don't think there is actually. Like, I there's like the one that's like
which
the 8
does make me
cost,
laugh that the
but
5
like
cost 9k cane is there. It's just like, oh, like we're talking about is like this card is just like one of the most naff cards of all time, and it's just like, oh, it's here because it's card name
I
Kane.
mean it's card
That's
name
that's
Kane.
it.
It's like you can cast it as a 6 cost haster in like the most emergency of emergencies. And that's probably better than like Kane's not exactly a name that's had a lot of good cards over the years.
And they're all here.
Yeah, like arguably the best Kane is this one as well. You can't use Hooded Man. Like there's actually some good Hooded Mans you might consider, but um,
You can't use them. Like on that note as well, it is also still running Opus One Kane. Like you want to talk about a throwback? Like how about a card that's 6 cost 8k with a burst that reduces 5k? This is the first card and the only card in that set that reduced power. You know, like that's the very definition of a throwback. But it's a card named Kane that has EX
I
burst.
had to
So
order a
I
playset of this card to when this Kane was revealed. I was like, I don't own Opus One Canes. And then they got lost in the mail, so actually I need to contact Post and figure out why they got lost in the mail at some point. But
just
uh,
classic Australia post. That's probably in somebody else's letterbox.
yeah, it's no, I mean, yeah, it's again, you're not playing any of these, so it doesn't matter what the text on them is. If it has a EX in the corner, you should just throw it in at 3 copies, which is why these are both here. This one doubles as a way to cast this if you do want to throw this one in against like a deck that you know has no outs and top cut. Um, like
Yeah,
the backups, each of these Dragoons is a Kane special. Emperor Gestal is a Kane special. The Canes are Kane specials. Sid Paladin and King of Bermesia are Kane specials. Miner can help find the Kane. Like it's a very focused list. I would love to play the Zemus on damage 3, pick up Kane and just like look at your opponent in the eye as you do it. Like that's right.
I got 2 of them now.
Um,
Uh,
even stuff that like that actually would have come up in Top Cut. This Minfilia can kill Spiritus against the Icewind Crystal deck.
yeah, let's use my 6 CP backup and 3 more CP to kill that 1 CP
I
backup. Let's
mean,
maximum value. Let's go.
it
I will
is
say
it is value in that matchup. Like it's
it
really
does kill
important.
Golbez's. I will like it does kill Golbez.
Yeah,
Like I will
and it's
I'll
2 Kane
concede that.
specials when you play it. Like that's what matters. It's board wipes if your opponent tries to go too wide and Kane specials.
That's just all we need in the world, isn't it? Board wipes and cane specials.
Yeah, I mean, there's no split second in this game. There's no super poly. There's no dark ruler no more. There is no way of getting this off the field outside of a burst or something in the end phase. This would be the worst
Yeah.
mirror match of all time. I just realized because
I gotta jump your cane. In response, I'll jump your cane. In response, I jump. Actually, it's not gonna be as bad as all that because it's going to be the person like the non-player turns cane is going to be the winner.
no, the turn cane would, right, because the you both jump.
Oh, it's
Theirs is
active.
going to come in
Yeah.
first. Then yours comes in and kills theirs. And then they go to their turn and
That's
they play
right.
their cane and they jump it. And then your cane dies. So I guess Kane can out Kane for what that's worth.
It just kind of sounds like the army of one mirror match because like I've played a couple of those ones as well. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna play my six drop lightning and draw five cards and kill nothing. Oh, I'm gonna play my six drop lightning and draw five cards and kill your lightning and then draw a card. Well, I'm gonna play my six drop lightning and kill your lightning. In the end, like the thing that I discovered is just you play the five drop lightning first and you start swinging straight away. Sure, kill my lightning. I'll just play my six drop for free then.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think this would be a pretty miserable mirror match.
I think it would be a beautiful mirror match, and
Because
I will laugh my ass off.
imagine if you both burn through. I guess though, like whoever keeps the last copy of Kane, the other person won't be able to remove it. So you probably win at that point. So then it becomes a matter of like keeping them off of, and then like trying to miss Dragon to like get rid of the Canes forever.
See, this is why I kind of want to like look into Lightning Water specifically because Lightning is a card that is kind of immune to Cane. The Water Lightning specifically because you just you flash it in. Like if they try to Cane special in response, then it's like okay, well I've gotten it off the field. It's my combat. I'm still hitting you, and then if you kill my Lightning, congratulations, it's back in the bin where I want it.
Yeah, I mean it is interesting to note that like if you can catch this deck with a second forward, I guess the Water Lightning with no other forwards could also be a way of getting rid of the Cane. If you can special
Yeah,
it, the schemata switch it and have it come back in the end phase. But really cool. Another deck that I don't think people had on their radars that did very well. We got
nobody was nobody was expecting that deck. Let's be honest,
some
nobody was.
some warriors, some Giga Wall. Looks like some mono fire. With
Looks
the
like
warrior
Modifier
stuff, it's
Warriors
going to be
specifically.
like a
So
Tyvus package. Yeah, I think that like most of the rest of the world is pretty settled on like you should be playing some warriors in your mono fire deck. Uh,
yeah,
Red
that's the
Cap's
name
just built
pops up.
different. I I really don't get that. I think you're making your. I genuinely think that when people like I don't. I know it's gotten to be a joke at this point that I say the Firewind Zidane is bad. I really don't think it's worth going out of your way to play that card.
I
I
it,
don't.
it, it, it like specifically Mono Fire. I agree.
It's like cool.
Like
You could play it off of Axstar, but like you could play a lot of good stuff off of Axstar. You don't need to do that. It's like well, you could bring it back with Montleonis. It's like so you're wasting the haste off of Montleonis. The Zidane doesn't draw you a card, so you're not recouping anything. And it's like, there's just so many good things you can do instead. And I'm not scared. Like maybe I'm stupid. Maybe that's what it is. Because I don't like when my opponent plays Firewind Zidane against me. I don't go fuck or shit. I'm like cool. They played it. They invested into a card that does not affect the board state and does not do anything. Like that's genuinely
like
what I think. Like when I see the card, it's like cool. This card doesn't scare me.
as a defender of the card, because like I genuinely think it is actually one of the more. It's not necessarily like the power isn't in its strength or anything like that. The power of the card is in how fucking annoying it is to deal with. It's got haste naturally, so it's always going to get in. It's hard to block. Like a 2 CP 7K that
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
can't be
But
blocked by anything that costs 3 or higher. It's really hard to block.
but I don't
It's
want to block it. I don't want to block in the game in general. I want to take the damage, hit a burst, and then go off.
yeah,
And that's 2 mana that's not going into Amaterasu when I like crack back at them.
yeah. Again, I completely understand the sentiments behind the card. Like
Yeah,
people don't like the card. Like I'm just sort of saying the reasons why I think it's really powerful. And the hand disruption element, like yes, you're giving your opponent a card back, but the card that you're taking, they're not getting back. They can't get that card back. So
Right. I mean, I will say
like,
it's probably pretty good against the Cane deck as well because you can cycle 2 Canes out of their hand. But
yeah, they
like,
might just draw two more, but
yeah, they'll just draw 2 more Canes at that. Like again, that's the problem. They're
but
drawing three
at the
cards that
same
you're not going
token,
to see.
if you're taking away the actual cane with the special, and they haven't played any yet, all of a sudden, like,
Yeah, and
oh,
then you
like
die
where
to
did
them
my deck
playing
go?
Cloud and then finding the Cane at any point in the course of the game. Like, because you have to do that pretty quickly at that point. I don't know. It's neither here nor there.
I
I've
personally
ranted
think
on
that
this card a million times on the channel at this point. Like,
I
I
personally think
don't
the
think
card has a
any.
lot of value, but I understand your thought
I
process.
think the only deck that should be considering it is if you need it for color fixing. Like, that was the only reason it was in Raffia was color fixing, and occasionally it was funny against Chaos Arc because you can screw up the combo. But we got
Anyway, we
some
do have some mono
MBM.
water as well.
Yeah, some MBM starting to show up. Ryan Chen on Mono Water, which is kind of a nature is healing moment when you see that.
And it's very similar to like the list that I've been on for like quite a while as well. Like, it's simple, it's clean, it's effective, it does exactly what it says on the tin. The backup line is a little bit different to what I've been running. It's running like more of a royalty based backup line. So it's got the Sarahs, it's got the Gordon, it's got the Hilda.
And this is
The
basically
Sarahs,
the exact backup line that I ran at like Continentals, just mixed in with like the Schultz that wasn't out back then. Like this is what I would have run like Opus 27 backup line, almost card for card. I think I'm not on Alchemist normally, but like yeah,
yeah, I definitely actually quite like the Alchemist. Just being able to sort of ramp that little bit extra is really important, especially for Ash calculations. Um, yeah, like really clean, really smooth. Going with the Golbez out of the limit break for the Shadow Dragon. So it seems like the secret's out. Everybody's
people are
back on it.
realizing that this card is actually broken as all hell. Finally,
Yeah, people have finally worked out that, oh, Golbez is just Realm.
yeah.
Like, I know Realm can be pitched for CP, but there's a 5k power difference between the two cards, and the Realm was powerful because of quantity. Golbez is powerful because of quality.
Yeah, I mean the ratios seem to be kind of getting figured out as well. Yeah, like the two Golbez, two Shadow Dragon is enough for you see both at the right times. It feels like.
Yeah, I will say that I do kind of miss seeing the Tross in there. Like, Tross
Yeah,
is still one of the most powerful monsters that water has access to. So I kind of miss not seeing, like, not having that there. Like, maybe one of the other monsters can make way for it. But other than that, I think the deck is just like really on point.
yeah, this is one on the two copies of On, and the Sid Randell is going to start to come out as well. I think this card is just so good into some of the best decks in the game.
Is that a copy of Go Go?
Yeah, this card's really funny with remnants. Uh,
It's funny with Yuffie as well.
I mean, the
Holy
sets
crap.
are here is also kind of wild. Um, no Alex, only the two Alexanders. So this will probably hit like almost like a mini Bart's in a way.
Yeah, spend one crystal, flip a card, play it.
The Zidane for a bit of hand rip, but yeah, no, it's really just trying to like if you copy Yazoo, like spend a crystal, dull freeze two things is very good actually. Yuffie, ping two things. Also notably, if they go to kill it and you have a Yuffie in play, you can make both of them untargetable.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
it's just like
I
kind of
will.
fine. I have a Gigawall list actually that plays with like the Remnant package, and like
Mhm.
go it has Go Go X-Ray in it. And the idea is like whatever I hit with it, Go Go's gonna have something to copy and it's going to be good.
Yeah. I do like the thought seize today in there again. What I don't like is no Ishtola. Like, I feel like that card is just so important right now. Like, especially for like a more aggressive tempo deck such as these ones,
I
where
think Sid
like
Randell
the
is a
main out
very good
is.
card in these aggressive tempo decks. It's also good
I
against aggressive tempo decks too, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. It's probably just me, but I do like having Ishtola as sort of like an emergency exit button.
Yeah, let's have a peek real quick here. This is some MBM. It looks like this is pretty much the European list to a T. The three Miwa, the Yuna, uh,
Yeah, it's the exact list by the looks of things.
yeah, the one Pyroblaster, the one Vorpal Bunny. No copies of Sorbet. Yeah, it's pretty much the exact.
Yeah, it seems like Europe solved that one in the end. Like everybody was sort of trying to figure out, oh, what if we do this in NBM? What if we do that in NBM? What if we
I
put dances in?
still like
It seems
the
pretty well
Japanese
solved.
list still with like the two Mayakovs, but that might be me underrating Yuna Miwa for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Yudo is one of the most
Yeah,
broken
she is.
cards that puts forwards that involves forwards of all time. So
I just
like
think that
this,
like it's not necessarily what the deck is looking for. Like it's, but like it's
yeah,
not a bad card. Like it's a very strong card. Miwa's great and just like good in general. Can help deal with some of the problems that would have with like Axstar as well, which is good.
yeah.
So
See one of your favorite decks there with Cat 8.
yeah, I mean this deck still. I don't know.
I know how much you love this deck,
Yeah, I mean I've talked about this a bit. One copy of this idea, really? Just the one. Okay. What
and none of the other one either.
I say there's one. No, that can't be right. There's you run like five Adia. You don't run just one.
But it's also running like Ultimecia. You see that? That's
Yeah,
a choice.
I mean you can play it. I mean you can play it off of Squall, but like it is really funny when you steal like a Terra with it. It's like anything that has a death trigger. It's like cool, I'll take it and then get the death trigger.
Yeah,
But
but like with that as well, you are only running 5 summons, so it's just like
yeah, I don't know. This is again just like I'm looking at the colors in this list as well. We have like the Selfie and the Zell, but like they're the only fire. So if we don't have the Sid Kramer, which we don't have a way of searching because we only have the one Adia, it's like even if we play the three Adia, it's like just Sid Kramer is not enough color fixing for me to want to play Selfie. But the card is probably too strong to not play. And like
yeah.
Zell is really kind of underwhelming. Like I just one Renoa. This is the best card in the deck, right?
That is the whole reason to play the deck. Like at the same token, we're using that Reno like the 3-drop Renoa there, but we're not running the Moonbot. Like we're running Shiva,
I mean,
and
it
it's
gets
not even a
Eden, but like,
yeah. But look at the Shiva that they're running.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't like that card at all. We're also only on like one of the best Cipher. Like, this is the other
There's
reason to
two,
play the deck is Cipher.
yeah. Like there's two of that cipher, but it's just like it feels kind of disjointed. Like the 2-drop Squall as well. I think it's actually one of the more powerful cards because it's 2 CP draw a card. Like
Yeah, like
we've been
only
going
one
on ahead like with
Seymour.
Blue
Like,
Worm. Yeah, like we've been going on with like Blue Worm and all that sort of stuff that do the whole 2 CP draw a card sort of thing. Category 8 literally has 2 CP draw a card, and it's not in this deck,
I mean,
and I
I'm
don't
glad
know
it
why.
worked out for them on the weekend. This is like not what I would have expected this deck to look like. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean they did get to the top 16,
yeah, like I
so
said, they're doing
like
something right. Like
credit where it's due.
I'm sitting here not able to win an LQ or do like even make top two in an LQ, and they're in top 16 of a Materia Cup. So I don't know anything, but like
They played through 7 rounds and got to an X2 result.
yeah, again, everything I take everything I say with a grain of salt. I also just like I think FFA is just not a great deck in general. I know it's a very popular deck. People enjoy the deck and the game itself, but like that is not what I just don't really think the deck is all that good. Granted, Hara was messing with it at Worlds last year, or like distinctly I saw him playing around with it a bunch. Seems like he
Yeah,
actually
I
had
did
some.
at the yeah, I very briefly played against him when he was using that deck. So
Yeah, I
it's
think he had some regrets that he did not play it in the main event, and he was playing it a bunch afterwards. I think he was like considering locking it, considering locking it, and then didn't do well anyway. And then like maybe he's like maybe I should have played the. I don't know. You'd have to ask Hara
I can't
that.
remember if he was on Mono Water actually. I can't remember if he was on the Mono Water list. Like you, because
He was
did
on
you
Knights
end up
Mono
playing
Water,
against
I
him?
think, was his
Okay,
pairing.
that's
Um,
also fair.
yeah, I thought that was like the best pairing you could do.
Yeah. Well, we've also got like we talked about this Masters a little bit last week, but now we've got the actual deck lists in full. So now we can sort of compare what like the Icewind list that everybody else is doing with this one, and this is the list that Hunter was running, and
It looks good. I mean,
it's
it's like about the right ratios for a lot of cards. Again, I talked a little bit. Like I started coming around a bit on this Vaughn. I mean, Vincent's really neat here. Like if you could spike the Vincent off of a Bart's, like it's such a nuts tempo play to like
it's an incredible tempo swing. I love the Astola in here as well. Like
yeah
just having access to that card is just like it basically just having that one sort of like coverall answer to whatever's going to be thrown your way. It's just so necessary for an aggressive deck like this.
Are you surprised to see just one sit, like just the two sit high wind and not the full three?
Not at all, because the other lists are doing the same,
Yeah, I'm
and
like saying
I
in
get it.
general. Like, are you surprised to see that?
Again, like not really. Like the thing with the Sid Highwind is, yes, it's a search that searches two cards, but it also doesn't get you a crystal. Like, and that's
Yeah,
sort of the whole idea centerpiece of the deck. I do like that the Sid Highwind searches for the Vincent though. That is huge.
yeah. I mean, like you get the Vincent in there. Like it gets Yuffie and Kadaj, Yuffie and Yazoo, like Yuffie and Lods. If you just want something to discard, like I don't
Yeah,
know.
or
It
just
seems
two
like it
remnants,
searches
so you
every
can
card
pitch
in the
one
deck.
remnant for the other one. It's uh, I understand wanting to just stick with two because like, and you've noticed this with your own like crystal builds as well. Like the crystal backups, they're sort of a necessary evil, if that
They're
makes
they're
sense.
an,
Like
they're an evil that I don't like messing with, but yes, that generally it's nice to have.
it's just that like you want to have like that way to generate that like those one or two early crystals, so then you could sort of go, kaboom! Now I have a ton of crystals and I'm doing all the bullshit. Uh, Sid Highwind is the only backup in the deck that doesn't generate crystals. And the only reason it's in there is because it draws two cards.
I'll
And
say
it draws two
it's too
cards that you
good to
actually
ignore.
want.
Like I don't know. I still think like running a copy of Dawn Edge for Marsh is probably worth as well. Like I
Mm.
like
Like
I
I did sort of do that little experiment. I also experimented with an Emina to like to find like one of the two cost backups or something like that.
I don't know.
There's
To me, like if you go first and go turn one Dawn Ed, turn two Night Marsh, you're winning that game. And
no disagreement on that one. Like
like
it's
you're in such a good spot when you do that. So or like
like you
turn
literally just
one,
play two cards for free. But
yeah, or like turn one like Crystal backup, turn two Dawn Ed Marsh, swing the Marsh, draw two. Like you're in such a favorable spot. You're threatening to do more. They know you don't have any crystals, but the opponent like they know you're going to make more crystals. Like you're not going to not make more crystals as the game goes along. So they have to deal with the Marsh. You've drawn two cards off of it already. It's on curve. Like that to me
mm,
seems like so powerful that I would want to like beeline for that every game I can.
yeah, and it's sort of that little magic number as well because like with the two backups in play, it's not a 7K, it's actually an 8K.
Yeah,
Like
it's
8K is like a like just that 1K extra power is actually a lot harder to get rid of than people realize.
yeah. Something interesting to note, we've seen kind of the development for this. I talked a bit about like the water wind. This is the first time I've seen Air's current list of this, and it's kind of wild.
Yeah,
One
they got
Malboro, one Ishtola. Again, like I was thinking Ishtola was like one of the most important cards in the deck to have multiples because of the rays protecting you from those like Mono Earth players. Only one Echidna. Like this deck just does not respect a lot of things that like I am personally scared of.
yeah, but you're also like we're also talking about Air here, which you've mentioned in the past is the master of the low ceiling deck.
I mean, like not only that, but like I think that he's also like this is the Japan thing. They will distill a deck down to its most basic necessities, and you'll notice Malboro doesn't draw a card. It does not advance your storm count as well as an Apollo does. And
Yeah,
probably in their mindset, they say like, look, if I need the Malboro, maybe I've already lost the game. I'm just going to do what this deck does exactly as it says on the tin, and I'm going to go faster. 12 forwards? Like, holy shit. But, like, he made room for the second Chocobo again. He's on the three Alexanders. Like, this deck, it is as lean as it can possibly be, and it only does, it does the one thing way better than a list that, like, is on the multiple Malboros. And, like, Blue Worm is too slow for this deck. Like it's not even trying to push damage with that. It's like, well, screw it. If I need to do that, Echidna is a card. It's like, well, it's good, but you know, we can go faster, and the deck is
Yeah.
very fast.
Like it seems like another one of those decks that switches on a damage 3 because the Ochus are suddenly live, right?
Yeah. And like for reference, this is Eureka's build for the same tourney. He's back on the Citra, which I do really like, especially with the Zoo. He's split the Apollos and the Marlboros, split the Echidnas.
Down to
Um,
2 Witch though.
two Witch is wild to me. Also, the one Poo Poo sneaking in there is an interesting
I
one.
actually quite like the poo poo. If you're doing like a storm turn and you go like you've basically like emptied your hand, you go Alexander on the stack poo poo. Like
Yeah,
poo poo says draw 2 cards and you're empty handed, so you draw 2 cards, and then Alexander resolves, you draw 2 more cards.
and to be fair, it's not that hard, even if you like for Poo Poo to say, if it is the discard one, draw two. It's not that hard to
Yeah.
discard a Sarah or a Princess Goblin or something that's dead in your hand and to keep going. Like it is a
Yeah.
it's a
Just
really
just an
good
excess
cantrip.
yeah, just an excess card that you don't really need.
What is this? Oh, this is the Verstale list. Remember these were popular at one point.
Yeah.
Uh, Prish really bringing like this Prish I think has been one of the big standouts. That again, a lot of people seem to underrate this card when it was first revealed, but she does a lot of work in these decks.
Like it says
Cindy,
6 in the corner, but she's really just a 1-drop.
yeah, the Iodolas. We got enough water where we can cast the Iodolas, thanks to the Shadow Lord, the two Unes, couple summons, the one cancel Ev just to threaten it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I could see this working. Ultimecia is a messed up card.
It really is, and especially when you got this many high cost cards. I
Yeah.
will say though, there's only one Regis in this deck.
I mean,
That's
I don't hate
crazy.
that. Like, I don't know. Like to me, Regis, it's just kind of a blank. Like, yeah, it plays Verstale, but you can play the Verstale. Like, you don't have to go through the Regis. And I'm still amazed to not see the one copy of Arden actually. Like, I think Regis for Arden was actually just like a really nuts power play.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the new Cindy down there as well instead of the old one.
Yeah, it's,
It
it's a new
is.
one. Yeah, because they want to be able to use the Kafka.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Um, I'm surprised the Unaleska and not Sidwaf. That I think that would be like an easy swap for me to not
But if
have
you've got
the.
Iridia back up there though,
Oh,
so
ready
that's
to
why.
back up. Yeah, no, it's got to be Unaleska.
Yep.
The Azael can go then. I guess like Azael for Verstale is like probably worth it as a one of.
Yeah. Like Rydia back up, and then the Rydia could also search for the Seymour because you got the Seymour on the forward line.
Yeah, that's true. Any other kind of fun? We have a mono win list.
Yeah. See, this is more my sort of speed when it comes to this style of deck. Like this to me feels like the evolution of mono wind post ban. You know what I mean? Like I understand that like all the top mono wind players are like, adding water to the deck. I just kind of like I know your feelings on it. I just feel like it's sort of diluting it. This is what I mean and what I think of when I think of wind based storm. It's just so clean, so efficient, does everything that you want it to do and more. It's got the full 3 Chocobo, it's got the Dryad for removal, it's got the full 3 copies of Alexander, it's got like all of the right forwards. It's running the Zoo as well, like Zoo making an appearance. It's got the Ochu. It's got Cerberus in there as well because Cerberus has got 3 different modes that are all incredibly important and all relevant. This to me is like Mono Wind in a nutshell.
It is and it isn't. I don't know. Like it's again, you lose so much of the recursion, so much of the action. I think Nash is a card that's in the worst spot he's ever been. Thanks to Tyro getting banned, he's just lost a lot of his targets. Refio's not really around in the format very much. Um, it, I mean, it's interesting to see the Vaughn. I could see the Vaughn actually being better now that Zoo's around. Like we're kind of running a couple of like extra utility monsters, so the character count can get quite a bit bloated for Vaughn.
Yeah,
Uh, but
like even the limit break is incredibly streamlined. Like
yeah,
I'd probably swap the Sid Highwind for like something else, but like it's perfectly
I mean,
streamlined.
you probably need the one Sid Highwind. I'm yeah, like I
Just
get
for a
a lot
fourth
of the
limit break one, right?
ideas, but
Yeah,
I also look at it. I see a lot of 3F forwards that are all uniquely named, or so like you don't have a lot of the ability to play some of these cards, which could hurt your cast count sometimes. Again, I think the Sedane's in the worst spot he's ever been by far. Like
The one card that I sort of miss from this particular list specifically is, and you'll probably agree with me, this one is Adele. I feel like this deck would profit so much with Adele.
I love Adele. Adele's one of my favorite. Like I picked up a Japanese full art when I was there, just because I really like loved playing Adele plus the No backup. I think the No backup is incredible.
Yeah.
Um, and this deck doesn't have like if you need to spot removal, you either have to find Dryad, which is kind of specific, or you have to go for the Luso turn a lot of the time. If there's like two problems, it's like you have to Luso, which can be rough sometimes. Like there are a lot of advantages to playing Witch in your deck, and like Witch and
But
Lena
again,
are so nuts.
yeah. But again, like this deck went X2 at least.
Yeah, no, it
Like
did good.
it's still a house of a deck. Like, and
Yeah,
it's still doing all of the right things.
curious if Mr. Cool changed any cards. I imagine this is probably the exact. Yeah, this looks
Yeah,
like the.
it's exact.
Yep. Was just checking on that.
No
And
reason
then,
to change anything if it all still works, right?
yeah, I guess one last thing. We've kind of been going for a while here. You wanted to talk about this LQ that you saw in Spain that you were kind of interested in?
Yeah, so this one was won by an Army of One deck. Um, the couple of interesting card choices in there, but like it's there's a lot of really cool stuff that people are sort of like people are doing more experimenting with Army of One than I potentially thought possible. Um, like the one copy of Kuja,
I'll say, what is this
that's really
draft
a
chaff
choice.
doing in my constructed deck?
Yeah, I mean, it does say get three forwards out of the way, so
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I could see it
Asura
being.
Minutio of War is a really nice way to repeat your lightnings, and you're drawing enough cards anyway.
And you have the Ulmia. Like, if you need to, like, these are searchable off of Ulmia. Is like, I imagine that's the only reason that like these are getting played is that you need 6 cost specifically for Ulmia, which means that you don't want Seymour. 'Cause I mean,
Interestingly
Seymour is just
enough,
better than Kuja in every way.
yeah. Interestingly enough, Ulmia does search for that one copy of Cloud of Darkness there, so you do
Yeah,
happen to have access to a quote unquote board wipe. Uh,
I will say this is low on non-lightnings and Odins. Like, this looks very low on those for me. Like,
so I
what
did
is?
actually make a count overall. There is 31 total Lightning slash Odin in the deck.
I really want that to be more like 35 normally. Like, what is the
That
like?
that's
What's the Emperor doing in here? like, like, don't get me wrong. I like this card. I think it might be underplayed. I am like the biggest proponent of warp as a mechanic. What is this guy doing
that's
in here? Like, bro
But
thinks he's on the
there's not
team.
even another way to play it off of abilities, right? There's no other ways to play it off abilities. Like Estinian makes sense, but
No,
this card
I thought for a
just
second that's what I saw. I was like, oh, are we on like the Emperor LB and like, which I think would actually be a pretty fine card to include as like a threat that like they don't want to kill because it'll draw a card when it dies, but like if they don't kill it, it attacks and doles every turn. Like it helps get things out of the way for damage. But like that didn't make the cut in the LB. So like it's not for that reason.
yeah. I personally I'm just of the opinion that the card name the Emperor is exactly what like like well sorry card name Lightning is exactly what card name the Emperor wishes it was.
I
Like if there was a deck that suddenly said, like a card that was like 6 CP, like something like the Army of One Lightning, right? There's 6 CP, flip the top 5, put any card named the Emperor from among them into your hand, and then you are allowed to play or like when it dies, play a card named Emperor from the hand onto field or something like that. And then it has like and then as a way to sacrifice itself to break something or something like that, like that's like it wishes it could be lightning, but
I
it's not
still
lightning.
like
It's
the
the
dream
Emperor.
for me still is a 2 cost ice backup with this name the Emperor that says the card name the Emperor you control have the multiplayable symbol. So you could search it with
uh,
Emina, and then you could fill your deck with all the Emperors that they want you to play in multiples, and you could just go ham. Like, how sick would that be?
I I reckon it would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, like that deck did end up winning.
Yeah,
The
I mean it
next
looks
the
good. It's just like again, I do wonder if do we need three off targets for Olmia would be my big question. Like we can do we need the Kuja and the Azura and the Cloud of Darkness? Like one of those should probably be another Lightning or an Odin, I feel like we didn't even max
yeah
out on three of this Odin. Like
yeah it does seem like it seems a little bit lean on card name Lightning and card name Odin, but again,
it got
they
there. Like
won,
again, I can't
so
win an LQ to save my life right now, and this one is. So
so second place is this really sweet looking Waterfire Monsters deck. Like I was talking about like me doing monsters and like Water should absolutely be among the ways to go forwards with monsters. Welcome back to Opus 22 with this one. This is a beautiful, beautiful deck. Actually, sorry, did I tell a lie? Opus 24 even. Like this is essentially Hara's World Championship winning deck, only modernized.
I mean, Furion is still one of the biggest draws in the game, and I think that like people are so used to this card as like the thing you play off of Tyvis, but like this was
You
good
can still
before
just
Tyvis was
hardcast it
printed.
with a bunch of monsters in play and still
Yeah,
draw two
like
cards.
this was good before Tyvis was printed. Like and which is crazy. Obviously, I love Zon. Like I think Zonni's another one of those cards that I really did not understand how good this wasn't. Like it just plays so much better than it reads. The seven Clives, like it looks good. Um, I do think
Yeah,
it's funny. I messed this a little bit. Like you can Golbez to get your slashers into play, so you can have the slasher witch combo. I don't know how much I
yeah.
really think that's worth doing. Like we're down on like just two blue worms, for instance. Like that seems a little bit greedy to me, but
But you do also have like all of the goblins, so you've got like
yeah. I mean,
ways
this
to draw cards off of that.
well,
Like
the other issue I
one thing,
have is like because all these goblins are going to pull themselves out of the deck, like one after the other after the other. You're going to draw these slashers a lot more than you want to.
yeah. I mean that's just much of a muchness in the end. Like you could potentially replace the slashes with like other cards. Like you
Another
could
blue
run
worm,
like another blue worm or another shadow dragon, like
like
a
one more
Tross or
Akali,
something like
or
that.
one more
Yeah,
Exo Ray, or a second Phoenix, or like a Jin. Honestly, wouldn't be
yeah.
or Tros. Yeah,
I One thing I will say is Golbez searching goblin represents all of the goblins.
over the course of multiple turns.
Just just one turn even.
No, Golbez is once per turn.
Yeah, but what you do is you use the Golbez to search for the goblin. You search for the next goblin. You untap the backup that you used to play the Golbez. You play the goblin. You search for the next goblin.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean
So
now. You get all three of them out of the deck, but not necessarily like into play.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
and if you've got a second backup down as well, you can just keep chaining the goblins. Like you could have all of the goblins in play
yeah.
within
I
a
mean, you
turn
can
with
get
the
your character
Golbez.
if you want a high character count. Like I'm almost surprised there's not like a Wukelmot in here because you could get like the three goblins plus Golbez plus maybe a Shadow Dragon. You're on 5, 6 characters and spent nothing on them.
Yeah, that's great.
Anything else here that's exciting? We have
So
some more
Knights came in
knights,
third, Monoworth in fourth.
some crystals.
We
This
do have some
cadets,
cadets. Let's go. Let's do this.
tricolor cadets, even not even.
It's yeah, like this is a dedicated cadets deck. Like have a look at that spread of cards.
I will
Like you,
say I'm shocked to see this. Like this ace is the only reason I want to play cadets most of the time. Seeing him at one is interesting.
yeah, like you've got the Terror, which like goes really well because it draws you two cards, and then you can like
This
make with
Terra
something.
is
It's
going to be
that
broken
Terror
someday.
that Terror is a cadets card. Simple as that.
Again, like
Uh,
I talked about like the theoretical like next set Fire Wind deck. This Terra is another reason that Fire Wind deck could be absurd.
oh yeah, like 100%. Like especially with the Zidane letting you like draw a whole bunch of cards.
Imagine like you cast like an Azura from Exile with that Zidane. Do 5, tap the
Oh,
Terra.
do
Do
8,
8,
untap the Terror.
untap the Terra, and then just do it again with the second card.
Blech.
And,
Blech.
like that's the fair thing you can do with those two in play.
Yeah, not to
Like,
mention any of the unfair bullshit you can
not to mention that
leave
like
around.
this Terra was free. The Zidane drew you 2 cards when you played it. Like, we'll have to see what
Dumb.
the rest of the spoilers look like. But like that Terra's only at 1 copy in this list even. Um, I do think
That's
it's
because you got to
funny.
make room for all the cadets. That's why.
All the cadets are just too good. You can't not run the full 3 copies of Machina.
Yeah. Don't forget, you've also got the two in the limit break as well, just in case.
Uh, I will say another one to kind of talk about. The Rem legend that came out with these cadets might be one of the saddest legends as far as like the card is fine.
The card is a really good card, but why is it named Rem when you've got the best backup for cadets
Let's say that,
in
like
the game
they have
and
to
it's
play
called
this Rem in
Rem?
backups like most of the time. Like,
Like,
or you have to
it,
like
it,
play a different 9, and like 9 is such an important name to the deck. Yeah,
uh, I don't know.
just kind of a
But
funny thing. Like they printed a legend for that tried to like tie all this cadet support together, and we go back to this Opus 3 backup so we can play the hero that was printed in the same set.
yeah, like that queen is just really, really powerful.
Yeah,
But
she's
the Rem is just like, it's just like put on the shelf and it's like, yeah, maybe someday. Like it still did end up making it to the top 8 of the World Championships in 2025, albeit without the fire cards. But it's there's something
I
there.
mean, I will
Like
say like this sync, like 7 characters is a lot. Like I guess, but like if you have like 5 backups and then like any other cadet plus her, you can give her haste. And that's some messed up text. Choose a character, break it. You start, breaking their backups, breaking their other stuff.
yeah,
Like,
we say that 7 characters is a lot, but then we look at Wuklamont.
yeah, but like 7 of a specific job is a lot harder. But like again, all the backups are that job, so it's just those backups plus any other forward. Like the 9 will do it. The ace is literally free potentially. The
Yeah.
Queen obviously is like Queen is basically makes this free as well. You use her to activate the 2 cadets and then play the sync. And I guess
hmm
it probably need to like keep another 2 cadets up, but like 7 giving all of them haste potentially is very very strong.
Yeah, like there's a lot of potential there. Like there's always had like a huge amount of potential. It's it's kind of just really cool to see it actually get paid off.
This there are sometimes though, like cards like this king, and I'm like, this is another bro thinks he's on the team card. I guess we need a certain amount of fire, but I don't think the hero king that like costs 5 and you can make him like cheaper by eating the break zone is an unplayable card.
I think that's actually a great card.
Yeah, like a 1 cost forward in the mid late game that can turn a card in the hand into a 2 cost Odin when he attacks. Like, I don't know. I think that's probably better than this. Maybe I'm.
Oh, but you could discard a job cadet to play it, and then it
Yeah.
says
So
that a
this
forward
costs
can't
2,
block
and the
this
other one
turn.
costs 1. Like,
Yeah, but this says a forward can't block for the turn. That's
oh
that's
yeah,
so.
true. That's the
Oh,
important text.
yeah. Forget about breaking forwards. You gotta have to make him not block. That's how you do it. Speaking of how you do it, how about this Chaos Arc deck
Yeah.
popping up again?
Yang showing up a little bit. I'm surprised to see this Yang here when we're not also on like um the limited special with the Sid Palandina. Like I think the Sid Palan I do think this Yang is good if you have the Sid Palandina or like a Rosa to cheat it into play.
What I will say is the Yang looks a whole lot better when you're discarding spare Chaoses.
Yeah, to some degree. Like again, my only thing about that still, my mindset when I'm playing Chaos Arc is I want Chaos in hand. I want Arc in hand. Like I
You do
don't want to
want
be.
Arc in hand, but if you've already got a Chaos in play, then you're just like
Then
any
when they kill it, I'll play
Chaos is
another
neutral.
one. Unless I'm against a mono water deck, or like a mono deck. Like mono decks are trickier, obviously, because usually the way I describe it is you get the 1 chaos bullet. But I would rather brick on having too many dark cards in hand than see the chaos without seeing an arc, or see the arc without seeing a chaos. Like it's so bad if you don't see both of them that like
Oh,
discarding them for even for decent like okay value is scary to me because at some point you want to pull the combo together, and if you don't have the cards in hand, when they go to kill the Chaos, you're going to draw another arc at some point. You're going to need the second Chaos to play that arc with. Like that's
Yeah, I
always
mean,
been my fear, and it's funny because like that's been how my mindset developed. Because like way back in the day when I was first playing Chaos Arc, like Opus 20, when I first really started messing with it with the Mono Lightning Chaos Arc, I had the two copies of Cisne and the discard atlas and the ways to get the cards out of hand. And now my mindset after so much playing the Mono Ice Chaos Arc list that I'm sure you've learned to test by now
yeah.
is I want to draw Chaos and Arc at every opportunity, and if I brick by drawing too many of them and I lose because of it, I did not play the rest of the game properly. Um,
Did you see the one
no
card that's below
siren
Miss Dragon?
is. There's no siren here.
Yeah, there is a Leonora though.
Yeah,
Like that, that
the Leonora is an interesting one to see there. I don't really know how. Again, this reads to me like the kind of thing where it's like I'm going to discard an arc and I'll get a Famfrit out of it. And it's like, why are you getting a Famfrit? You can cast the arc and kill kill a thing and make them discard.
did you see the card that's under the Miss Dragon?
Oh, the Mind Flayer. Yeah, that's kind of standard. Like you'll see that in these decks sometimes if they like know they're going to go to mill. Sometimes like the one copy Mind Flayer actually is pretty good in that situation.
They just une it back every time.
Yeah. Uh, I will say still like I love the
Cute.
one copy of Ico in my cast arc as well, and you especially because like a lot of like the Lev sixes, the Remora, the Kuchus, the Kusits. A lot of times you discard those early for value, and then you shuffle them back into the deck, and then you mill five and you mill an arc with the Ico, and now all of a sudden it's like all my deck is just more bursts and good summons to do, and I got to arc you for nothing.
Yeah, like
It's
maybe that's what the Leonora should be.
yeah, I would love to see that there. Um, like I could sort of see the Leonora gang if we were on the Sid Palandina backup. I think that makes a bit more sense then because then you have kind of that. Like my fear with this
Oh,
Yanks.
hang on. Sorry to interrupt, but you see the Lena back up in the back line there. You can raise the Yang
So like yeah,
and
but like so
then
I have the
pump
same issue with
9K
that I
burn.
have with Yang normally, which is if your opponent is on a deck that can lock your backups, this card is so bad. If your opponent has a Seymour in play, this Yang can never hit the field and deal with the Seymour.
I mean, that's also fair. I feel like this is also one of those decks that really did get punished by the Tyro ban because like
Oh,
having access to those extra bursts was absolutely massive for a
I mean,
deck like this
I think
specifically.
more so than that even because I think this deck would be fine without playing Tyro. It wanted decks to play Tyro. It wanted the opponent's decks to be on Tyro, and Tyro being gone means there's less of those soup decks and decks playing Shantoto and the things that this deck is really going to thrive against.
Yeah, like it wanted decks to be playing Tyro, but I think it itself wants to be playing Tyro too.
Yeah,
So
it
it's kind
does,
of
but
just like
I think if it could choose, either it has access to Tyro or everyone else has access to Tyro, it would put the Tyro in other people's decks.
one thing I will say is if you're playing cards like Agito Maragito, where's your star symbols?
I was gonna say when I saw the Ajita, I was like, oh, we were on Star Sybil. No, we're not. I think Star Sybil playing Une is actually really good.
Star Symbol Une is huge because it's like, oh, like exactly what what we were talking about just before, right? Like, if you could crack the Star Symbol for maximum value, it's just such a house of a card.
And I love the summon. Like, if you want to talk about a way to discard, no, summoners pay two, but like summoner is like a way of getting back your arcs as well. Like the Earth
Yeah,
Summoner backup is like a really good backup. There's good water backups in. You could run like Schultz and
yeah,
stack a
like run one
burst.
copy of Schultz.
What are the other water? There's other water cat 11 backups you could play as well. I'm sure.
Like, it's just some random like standard unit stuff, but at the same time, you kind of just like category 11 just does really good stuff. Like it always has. It's like let's just start doing it again.
Yeah, I think that's going to probably wrap it up for our show, though. I think we've been at this for a while. Thanks for, as always, for hearing us yap. Let me know if you have any suggestions or things that you think you would be fun to watch on the channel. Because, like I said, I don't really know what the direction is to take for like I don't know if deck profiles is better or gameplay would be better or some combination of the two. I was really proud. I did a video once where I tried to do like a full I don't know if any of our viewers know who MBT is, but I literally just tried to ape 10-minute testing, and I think I like put a decent amount of work into doing it, doing the commentary, getting the deck profile recorded, and then it like did half of the views of a video where I sat and just yapped for 10 minutes about random bullshit, and it's like, well, I don't know that I want to be doing that much effort into this if that's not what's going to get watched. So, not sure. Again, this is something to look at, but yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me, Rob. As always, congrats again on your win,
Thank you very
and
much.
we'll see everybody in the next one.
See you on the flip side.